Hey. Take a minute. Put everything together here. Hello, hello. Oh wow, I already had someone requesting. That's pretty fast. Usually I don't get a request for the first 5 minutes. Okay. Well, we're here to talk about sentient animals and their inherent rights. We're going to let people kind of slowly filter in. But the question is, why aren't you vegan yet? I have some resources. Challenge 22. Oh, it doesn't want to show my hand. That's crazy. Challenge 22. And then I also have nutritionfacts.org. Challenge 22 is great to talk to like a dietitian for nutrition questions. And nutritionfacts.org is just great for reading studies or watching videos about studies. So, why do you think you should still use animals when it's unnecessary, when we can get everything we need from plant-based sources? Not just what we eat, but what we wear, what we test our cosmetics on, and how we entertain ourselves. All of this we can do without using animals. So why not respect animals? We are sentient. We have the capacity to suffer, the capacity to have our own experience. Animals have the same thing. If we want that respected in us, why don't we respect them the same way we expect to be respected? Okay, as far as affordability, vegan produce and foods, usually vegan diet is like the cheapest diet out there. Oxford did a study and found it was 30% cheaper. There have been other studies more recently. I think they still say something like 10 to 20% cheaper. As long as you're eating more of like the whole foods, you're gonna have a lower bill. Like the fruits, the veggies, the beans, the rice, the seitan, the tempeh. Say beans? Beans, nuts, rice, legumes. Morals are objective and so are diets. I don't agree with that statement. I do think that morality is subjective, but I think that we all agree that we want to avoid harm. We share that with all sentient beings, and so we should respect that in each other. You can be healthy on a vegan diet. If you're worried about health, like I said, Challenge 22, you can talk to a dietitian directly, or nutritionfacts.org. You can look at the studies yourself. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys know, I want you to be over 18. It's TikTok rules, not my rules. I personally just don't really care to talk to children anyway. I'm going to reverse my camera there. There we go. All right, come on up. You gotta be over 18 though. Hey, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Are you over 18?
Yes, I am 18.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan yet?
Because I have issues with food and cutting out meat and dairy products would cut my safe foods to about 10% of what they are, as most of what I eat is yogurt. Plus, I am at culinary school, which means that most of the food that I cook is meat or meat products, and if I didn't eat that, that would go to waste.
Okay. Do you recognize that?
Would you rather that meat that is already there be eaten and not put to waste, or just chucked in a bin?
I would rather they not be purchased in demand, because every time that you demand or consume them, you're demanding someone else go through that system.
Yeah, well, it's not me personally. If I cut
It is you personally. If you go to the store and you purchase, animal, okay, I understand. If you go to the store and you purchase animal products, You're demanding another sentient individual to go through that system. Do you want to do that? Like, let's say you didn't have whatever situation you're going through right now. You were just like any healthy, normal individual. Would you then find it to be a moral obligation to avoid causing unnecessary harm to someone? You're muted. Mute button's right there. You wouldn't find it to be a moral obligation?
No, because I don't see animals as equal to humans.
They don't need to be equal. You already said they're sentient, correct? Do you know what sentience means?
Yes, they are sentient. However, they are not equal to humans.
Do you know what sentience means?
Yes, I do know what sentience means.
Tell me what it means.
Yes. It means it's alive and has the ability. It has the ability to think and feel for itself.
So they do have subjective emotions. They're experiencing life, and they're weighing out those experiences and making preferences, just like you and me. We go through life, we experience something, we decide whether or not we like that or not. That's something we share with all sentient beings. Do we want that respected in us, our ability to suffer? Do we want people to recognize that and respect it?
To a certain point and to certain people.
Do you want your bodily autonomy respected?
I do. And I can voice that.
Okay, you do. Good. So why should I respect your autonomy? What about you should I be respecting? Is it your intelligence?
Me saying no.
Wait. But what if somebody was mute? Should we not respect their body autonomy because they can't say no?
Well, they can still show it with their body language.
What if they can't do any of that? I don't know, maybe they're in a hospital, they can't move their body, they're in a total paralysis, they can't communicate with you in any way. Should you respect their body autonomy then?
To their family. At most cases, you would go to their family and ask them what they want to do.
But that's not the point, right? What I'm asking is, should you respect their body autonomy?
You should.
Okay.
Because of what they have said prior, or what they have communicated prior, or from what their family has communicated.
Okay, so what if this person, in order to start walking again, they start having transplants, and they start with, instead of one leg, they start transplanting from one human leg to one cow's leg. And they just, if they start transplanting both legs to cow's legs, should you still respect the body autonomy of that person?
Wait, hold on. If we're putting a cow leg on a human leg,
yeah,
how would that work?
Well, it's actually quite fascinating that the brain, in fact, you can attach as many limbs as you want on a human brain, and actually on any brain, and the brain can essentially learn how to use that limb. But that's not the point on how it would work. Like, you don't have to trust me on any of this. You can look it up yourself. But the question is, if you start replacing these limbs with animal parts, should we still respect their autonomy?
Yes, because their brain is still human.
Okay. And what if we make this revolutionary procedure where we're able to transfer the consciousness from the human brain to a brain that is coming from a pig?
Hold on. All of these what ifs.
I'm just trying to understand what matters to you. Is it the physical shape of a human body?
No, it's the ability to communicate what they want done with them.
But you already mentioned that if they were in a state where they cannot communicate that wouldn't matter. You would still respect their autonomy.
Communicated, or you go to their family and ask them what they want.
Well, their family would still couldn't communicate properly with them. So their family, what they would do is they would look after their interest and try to make a decision based on their interest. but that doesn't mean you are communicating with them, right? So I'm just trying to understand what exactly matters. Again, if this person is not in the shape of a person, then all of a sudden they're no longer worth anything.
No, that's not true. But a cow and a person aren't the same.
Oh, well, they very much are in a lot of ways that matters. But let's put it this way: if this person was in the shape of a dog, like what would you do the same that you do to cows? Would you do to dogs? You know, like forcefully inseminate them just so that you can get milk from them, kill them when you can no longer do that?
No. What matters is that we are humans.
Wait,
but human.
But you wouldn't do it to dogs, and dogs aren't human.
But we don't drink dog milk.
Well, what's the difference? What's the difference? It seems to me like you're just picking and choosing. I'm going to exploit this animal because they're in the shape that I think they should be exploited. But this other animal who's in a shape that I think should be respected, I respect. No animal chooses which shape they're born in.
I don't drink dog milk. What?
I'm just trying to understand why. Why is it that you think it's okay to exploit cows but not dogs?
Because we don't drink dog milk.
But that's, you see what you're doing right now is not a logical statement. Why don't you do that? You can't respond because I don't do that. You either respond with a reason or something else. You know, it just makes no sense when you say, well, the reason why I don't drink dog's milk is because we don't drink dog's milk.
Well, I've never drank dog's milk. I've never known anyone who drinks dog milk. So why should we forcefully inseminate something without, without a reason?
So let's imagine that all the cows, they get this virus that kills them off, I mean, nowadays they're pretty much, cows are are full of bird flu. But let's imagine that there's a virus that kills cows off completely, and there's nothing we can do because we haven't moved fast enough. That has happened throughout our human history, and all of a sudden we can no longer get milk from cows. And I don't know, the only animal left for us to get milk from is a dog. Would you continue paying for dogs to be exploited and slaughtered?
Probably not. I don't know. I'm not in that situation, and I highly doubt I will ever be in that situation, because there's cow's milk, there's goat's milk, there's other milk that you can get. So
it seems to me like you just create this hierarchy where you're like, yeah, well, dogs never, even in a hypothetical situation, I would never do that. But all these other animals that, we've been doing for thousands of years, we've been treating them badly for thousands of years. What's treating them badly a little bit more, isn't it? Whereas dogs, we've been treating them, well, we've actually been treating dogs also pretty badly, but, whereas dogs, you seem to think you're treating them nicely and it's okay. So you wouldn't want to start treating them badly.
Well, it's not that I wouldn't treat them badly, it's...
So you would treat dogs badly also, for something you don't need?
Well, for something that I enjoy, because I do enjoy milk.
So you think it's justified? So you think it's justified to treat dogs badly because you enjoy it?
Yeah. Oh, no, hold on. There is a lot more... I've never tried dog's milk. I don't know what that tastes like, so I probably wouldn't drink it anyway because I don't like new stuff.
Let's say dog's milk is the best tasting animal-based milk there is. It has all the nutrients you could ever need. We could get everything from plants, but let's say the dog's milk has that just extra flavor to it. Would you be willing to hurt dogs then for it?
We wouldn't be hurting dogs.
Do you know the process that cows go through?
Pardon?
Yes, no?
What?
Do you know the process? The cows.
Played with a ball. And then
Do you think the cow decides when to get pregnant, or do you think? Okay, hold on a second. I understand. Yes, there is mating involved, but it's not consensual. Who do you think decides for the cow that she's going to get pregnant? The cow or the farmer? Who do you think picks the cow's mate? The cow or the farmer?
The farmer, because they know what's...
Would you like that done to you? Would you like that done to you? Would you like that done to you?
Related to them.
Oh my goodness. Would you like that done to you?
No, but there's a complete difference.
Why?
Between
Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong?
And a bull.
Why is that wrong?
Getting forced to have a child was something that with someone I don't want to have a child with.
What would we call that?
It's just not right.
What would we call that? We'd call that, well, for TikTok purposes, we're going to say grape.
You're right. The bull didn't decide either. They're both being... You're right. The bull didn't decide either. They're both being violated. In fact, most of the time, the process you describe
is not what they even use. They do what's called artificial insemination. The farmer puts on a big glove and he penetrates the cow's bum with his arm, holds her cervix through the lining. I need you to listen for a second, okay? So he, through the lining of her colon, holds her cervix in place. She's in what's called a grape rack, so she can't get away while they're doing this to her. In her vagina, they squirt some semen. How do they get that semen? That's someone's job. Someone's job to go to a bull and extract. So we get a bull off, we take that semen, and we put that inside the female cow. Not only do they squirt that in her, but they move back and forth inside of her to make sure that she is pregnant, that she gets pregnant. Does that sound like something you want to support? That's most dairy.
That doesn't happen. Okay, at least where I live,
you can find this video. Oh, honey, it is everywhere. It is everywhere. You know why they do it?
No,
it's more effective. It's more effective. It's funny to me that you're denying reality. That's kind of funny. Where do you live? Do you live in America?
It is illegal to.
Where do you live?
Australia.
Where do you live?
No.
Oh,
Australia.
honey. Oh. You can find. Look up this documentary. Is from Australia. Go look up Dominion. It's free on YouTube. They show you the whole process. It is absolutely in Australia. You need to go learn your systems. You clearly don't know anything about the animals. You know nothing about what the animals go through. Zero.
Okay, well, I have lived on a farm. There are people in the comments who run a farm.
You clearly don't know anything. You don't know anything. You literally know nothing. You know nothing. I just described you what happens to cows. You have no idea. And it's really sad. I'm going to move on because I need someone that's actually receptive. And I feel like I'm talking to a wall when I'm talking to you. You just kind of like, what? What? They don't do that. Oh, they do. And you demand it. When you go to the store and you pick up those packages, you're saying, I like the price of this. I like how it's made. Do more. You specifically are doing that. Yes, you. You demand cows be graped. You demand cows have their babies stolen from them. We didn't even get to that. We only got to the SA of the cows. When she has a baby after 9 months, that baby is stolen from her. She doesn't get to say goodbye. They're separated. And if it's a male, he's either unalived immediately or he's sold off for veal. So maybe 2 years of life. They can live to be 20. I just think that you're being really disrespectful. Oh, hey, Chip, sorry. Appreciate you stepping in.
Or accidentally. Oh, sorry,
that's okay.
exited there. Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah,
I've done that too, where you hit the back arrow.
Yeah, it's also like I feel like like I've seen it in backyard farms, and a lot of the times like when it comes to how dairy cows are being treated, a lot of farmers will just strawman the argument and go like, oh well, we don't artificially inseminate them, we put a bull with them. But then, as you mentioned, they select the bull and everything, so they always just pick this one part of it where they're like, well, we do it better. But at the end of the day, they still do the same thing. They control the breeding process, they take away the babies either sooner or later, and then they kill the babies if male. So yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, she said that she grew up on a farm after she learned that.
They all grew up on a farm. Everybody
they all grew up
on
a farm. No, oh, so true, so true. All right, I'll grab someone else. Let's throw someone up there. Let's see, Razzo. SameasLee, you're up. You're welcome to come up too.
Hello.
Hey, Razzo, are you over 18?
I'm 32.
Right on. Why aren't you vegan yet?
Because I don't consider animals the same level as humans.
Okay. But do you at least recognize that they're sentient, that they have the capacity to experience life?
And they can recognize certain cues, yeah, but they're not.
Can they suffer?
Of course they can, yeah.
Okay. So, do you agree that causing someone that can suffer unnecessary harm, that would be immoral?
Well, no, because I wouldn't consider that as someone. So this is somebody would be human to me. My cat.
So they are sentient.
Somebody. If I said somebody bit me.
Okay, Razzo, I get it. You're offended by the word someone. I get it.
No.
Razzo, I get it. I don't need you to explain further. I get it. You don't think animals are a someone. Understood.
Right.
Okay. You do understand they are sentient, correct?
Mm-hmm. I got that part.
Okay. Sentience means they are a subject having their own experience. There's an individual inside that body that has preferences unique to them. How is that not a somebody?
But most animals act the same way. Most animals in their demographic act the same. Oh, there we go. Oh, what's that face? They do. Of course they do.
Wait, so do most humans. What do you mean? Most humans on this planet will only follow what they've been told. Like, take for instance, I'll even follow your example, right? So. Yourself, because I would assume you yourself would say that every moral argument, every moral rule that you follow is actually quite logical, or you have a purpose towards that moral rule. So I'll ask you exactly the same thing that we did with the previous guest. And that is, what exactly is the morally significant difference between a cow and a dog that justifies doing what we do to a cow, but not to a dog?
The answer is none. The only reason we feel empathetic more to a dog, to a cow, is because we've grown them and we've breeded them to be that way. If we never touched them, we would feel the same way to a dog as we do to a cow.
So you would eat a dog steak. That's what you're saying.
If I had to survive,
no.
Any animal.
In the same situation, when it's an optional product to you, you would eat a dog steak, because a cow steak is just as optional as a dog steak.
Because in the country I'm in, it's not it's just not a thing. So I would eat beef, or I would eat pork, or but if I was raised in China, I don't know if they eat dogs. I think
no. But you see, you're yet again moving the goalpost.
No.
My question to you is: would you right now? If you find dog food in the supermarket, if you find dog steak in the supermarket, would you consume dog steak? Would you buy it? It becomes a thing in your country.
Yeah, I said no, because of traditionally, no. If I was in somewhere where traditionally it was accepted, then I would eat dog food and cat food.
So do you think tradition should justify oppression?
It's not about justifying, it's about where you're from. I don't... Put it this way, humans are here. I mean, I've got my camera on, you can't see what I'm doing, but humans are... I'm raising my arm when I say it. Animals are here, and then plants are here, right? So... To me, it's not about. This is the thing. This is what's funny. People think like each animal has different value. But no, to me, animals are all the same. I don't care if you bring up a dog, a cat,
Wait. No, but that's arguably not true, and you have proven it so.
How is it
because
not
you
true?
said you said to you animals are not the same, because you said if you find dog steak in the supermarket, you will not go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, because I have alternatives. If I didn't have alternatives, I'd eat.
There you go. So why is it that you apply the same logic to a cow steak?
Why is that a clap? What's your
I'm trying to understand, why is it that you apply a different logic to a cow steak than to a dog steak?
Because it's where we are brought up. I told you, if I was in China, and this is where do you know what? Fuck countries. Wherever I was born, and every single animal was edible, I would eat it. I don't care.
So wait a minute. So wait. Are you saying that if I grew up in a place where they ate humans, then the fact that I choose to eat humans, it would be okay?
Don't get it twisted.
Wait a
Don't
minute.
try that card.
Are you gonna start moving the goalpost again?
You
because I merely said, you said that as long as you grew up doing something, all of a sudden that something is morally justified.
Right.
I grew up exploiting and eating humans. Does that mean it's morally justified for me to exploit and kill humans?
Oh my lord, you done? Right, animals, not humans. Not humans, never humans.
Yeah, humans are animals.
No matter what situation, I'd rather starve to death. And Vegan Stoner, I was on your live a few weeks ago and you said you would eat a human baby to survive. I'm telling you now, I wouldn't.
I could justify it. I could justify that. I could justify that, yes.
I don't think so, honey. Try it. I beg you. Please.
Survival.
Survival. Not to eat a human baby. Are you on drugs? Well,
so wait a minute. Do you condemn the people who crashed in the Andes? Do you know the people who crashed in the Andes? Reza, you have to let me finish for a second.
Go on, I'm listening.
So the people who crashed in the Andes, in order to survive, they resorted to cannibalism. They didn't kill the other people, but rather they ate the dead people. So I'm curious, are you saying that those people should go to jail? Are you saying they acted immorally?
Circumstances are different, obviously. I don't know about jail, but I don't think it's right in any circumstance to consume any human, no.
So you think it's immoral, the fact that in order to survive, they consume the flesh of dead people?
Yeah, but don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, don't ever eat other humans.
Okay, so then let me ask you this then. What is the morally significant difference between a human being and an animal that justifies?
Why am I being frowned at for not eating a human?
So Reza, the question is, what is the morally significant difference between a human being and any other animal, because humans are also animals, that says a human being is not even to be allowed to eat in an emergency situation, but an animal can be eaten even when you're when you just feel like it, because you have other options, but if you feel like it, there's obviously a completely huge difference between how you see animals and how you see humans. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to understand what trait difference is there. What would make it so that if a human being would have that or would lack that, you would be okay with doing that to a human being?
Well, can I ask you, so if we were in a world where we had to...
Can you please answer his question first?
No, because this is relevant. If we were in a world...
Razo, you need to either answer his question or I'll move on.
What's the question?
So, what is the morally significant difference between a human being and an animal that justifies the difference in treatment?
Quite a few. So we've builded so many things where an animal could never build anything. We've built a whole society. We've made borders. We've done.
What have you built yourself?
What have we built? How about buildings?
No, what have you built yourself? Have you built a building today, or
have I built a building today? Did you just ask me?
Or your entire life? I'm curious. Have you built anything your entire life?
What, by my own hands on my own? I've never built a building. What's your fucking point? I'm talking about humans.
So there you go. The more significant difference that you just mentioned, the fact that humans build buildings, you have not done that. So therefore, that is not a good enough difference.
What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, so let me explain to you the question. So there's two individuals in this scenario. I'm not asking what is the significant difference between the species or something that you can define. There's two individuals. One is a non-human animal and one is a human animal, okay? What is the morally significant difference between these two individuals that prompts you to say, I will cut the throat of one for optional products, but not the other?
I've already told you. Do you want me to go on? I've already said two.
No. You said that one belongs to a species that has created a lot of stuff. But what if I told you that this other individual belongs to a species that actually has done more for the world than humans have?
Well, if that was the case, then I'd be like, hallelujah, praise that species.
Okay, well, it sounds to me like cows have done have done way more for the earth than humans have done.
How? Give it to me.
Well, it's fairly simple. Cows have actually fed considerably more people than any other human being have done on this planet. Cows have essentially been time and time again been brought into existence only to be slaughtered for the sheer pleasure of human beings. Please tell me which human being has done that.
What? What's the question?
Yeah. Cows have been brought into existence.
What's the question?
Cows have been brought into existence for the sheer purpose of being exploited and slaughtered for your pleasure. Please tell me what other human being has done that.
What's the question here? I'm so confused.
What other human being has been brought into existence only to be exploited and slaughtered for your pleasure?
You're about slavery. You're going to bring it back to that.
No, I'm not going to bring it back to back. What I'm trying to tell you...
I literally, honestly, genuinely don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, but you see, right now, what we're reaching a point where you don't understand the perspective. You can't seem to make us a trait difference between the two individuals, and yet you choose to oppress one because of some deep belief that you refuse to change. Do you know what a person who has a belief system that is oppressive and they refuse to change it is called?
No, but they're not people. Animals have animal rights, right? Humans have human rights. We don't have the same rights, do we? A cat can't walk into a supermarket and buy some food, right?
Those are constructed by people. That's a moot point.
Oh, I don't know who you are, but be quiet.
No.
We do not have the same rights. We do not have. Well, it's the first time I've heard.
No, Razzo, you don't. Yeah, but you don't get to tell someone to be quiet.
I mean, I've been shushed 3 times at least, and I wasn't even being rude.
It's my life.
Fair enough. I'm just saying there's different types of rights, right? I don't have the same rights as a bloody mouse, right?
What rights do you think animals have?
Well, that would be a question I would reflect back to you. No.
Tell me one right.
Well, no, I don't think any. No. Okay, fine. I don't think. Yeah, this is what the point I'm making. I don't think any.
Razzo, would you agree that in like societal systems that the people in power give themselves more rights than the people who are the lower class, like being exploited? Would you agree?
Sorry, repeat that. I was too busy
looking at the power give themselves more preferential treatment and rights. Yes or no? Would you agree with that? Just generally speaking.
That's all right. Say that again. Sorry, I was too busy looking at a profile picture. Go on.
Yeah, sure. Would you agree or disagree that in systems of power where there's a ruling class and a lower class or working class, that the ruling class gives themselves preferential treatment and more rights than those that are being oppressed? Would you agree or disagree with that?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. So could you just through that simple logic, could you say, well, maybe because humans are in power, we give ourselves more rights and give animals less rights, right? Well, no, so like that's just a moot point. It's just a totally moot point. I wanted to touch on something you brought up in the very beginning.
No. Wait. At least let me have my say before you move on.
You can rebuttal. You're right.
I was going to say, don't skip 2 points before. But we're different species, so it's not like
this ties exactly into what I wanted to address. One of your initial points that you made with your full chest. You said it with much bravado. Appreciate it. About how animals all act the same, and I love going on this topic because I always start with fish, which is kind of one of the ones where we talk about like sentience and stuff. Maybe fish are kind of lower in the hierarchy because obviously there is clearly a hierarchy. But are you familiar with some of the studies that they've done with like clonal fish and zebrafish?
Wait, Sam. I just recognise your name. But Sam, but should there be in your view, in the vegan view, should there be a hierarchy with animals? I would hope not.
It's not about should, there is. But does that hierarchy mean that we need to exploit them?
No. Wait. But I'm saying that there isn't. There's humans and everything else is boom below. But you're saying we care about all animal rights. So I'm saying to you, put it this way, if I became vegan tomorrow, I would hope every single animal on this planet would have the same rights. Not a fish compared to a cockroach, compared to a bird, compared to a tiger. Like,
but that
I'm not saying I didn't say a hierarchy of rights. I just said a hierarchy of consciousness and sentience. That's all I'm talking about. You're putting words in my mouth and arguing a stance I did not take. So listen to the words I'm saying and listen to hear me and learn, not simply to respond, please. So back to what I was talking about, the studies about the fish. Have you seen any of these studies where they literally have genetic twins and they're able to track and distinguish boldness and shyness, aggressiveness, and sociability differences in genetic twin fish from the same mother-father? Genetic twins. Like, you know how humans are twins? And they can still find difference in their personalities. Like, so I would like to, like, what do you say to that in terms of, well, animals are all the same? Because that was like your first big point that you came up here and made real loud, and you kind of seemed like it seemed like you had something there. So I just wanted to. Well,
they are mostly though. I mean, obviously certain types of animals act differently. I'm not saying every single. I mean, it might have sounded like
right. We could say the same thing about people. People are mostly the same, and certain types of people are different, though, right? Do you see
we are all the same. The only thing that separates us is smecks. I don't know what. Sorry, I don't know what your TikTok.
Oh my god.
Well, no, but listen. You take about 100. Listen. Okay. Just listen for 1 second. You take about 100 humans. We all look the same, right? Forget age, forget gender. What you think of a human, we're all going to look similar, right? You take an elephant, you take a tiger, you take a snake, you take a frog. Like, what's your point here? They all, even just by visually.
I can explain to you that. So did you know that a large portion of our brain impacts?
I'm so confused. We're on a different person now. Okay,
that's okay. You can still listen to arguments. I believe if you hear
sure.
a different voice,
I
right?
get you one voice and another one chimes in. But go on.
Yeah, sure. So a large portion of our brain is actually dedicated towards identifying human faces. So obviously, when you will see animal faces, you won't be able to to notice the differences between their faces or between their traits.
Yeah,
but they are very much different. They are very much just as different from each other as we are from each other. It's just that our brain does not have the capacity to notice the distinctions.
Are you believing this? A frog? You're telling me you look at a frog and an elephant, and you're saying the only difference is I look at their faces differently. What?
I'm telling you that you don't have the capacity to notice the differences between them, but that does not mean that they do not have differences.
What? No, I do notice. Wait, what? No,
Razzo, like two different frogs, right? They to you might look the same and may have similar habits, but what Chip is trying to say is that you don't recognize their differences because your brain isn't programmed to do that. They are individuals just as we are. They are unique. They have preferences that are unique to them on an individual scale. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I would say that ideology to like, all of this group of something is all the same. I would say that borders on some very, very dangerous ideology that we look at, that we see humans about other animals.
There's no
it's a very slippery slope. So
there's no ideology. It's animals. What ideology are they going to defend themselves?
Looking at an entire group of whether it be an animal or a person or whatever, and saying all of these look the same and they're all the same. Do you not Can you not draw a parallel?
Do plants have the same rights as animals? Right. Do insects do not have pain receptors? So what? Why does it matter if I?
They don't know for sure about insects. A lot of insects are still in the gray area, but
sure, you've got no leg to stand on, right? You've got
so the point is, with insects, I personally tread on the side of caution. I still will try to. If I don't need to unalive them, I won't. That's veganism isn't a gang. It's about not wanting to cause harm. That's what veganism is. It's about not wanting to demand someone's exploitation for something I don't even need.
Do you think
just like here's an example, Razzo?
Do you think a cockroach is someone?
Hold on. No. I need you to listen here. What we're trying to talk about is like this example. Let's say I have a dog in front of me and I don't get exercise otherwise, okay? This dog is immobilized, but they're still fully sentient and alive. I'm going to go wild on exercising myself on this dog. I'm going to kick them until I just can't anymore. Do you think that's moral?
Oh, amount of times I've heard this argument. No, because what I think is moral is to unalive the animal for.
Right. So we're not talking about unaliving the animal. I'm talking about this example right here. You said that's wrong.
There'll be no point. Yeah, but there'll be no point.
Why is it immoral? Why is it wrong? I get exercise out of it. I get a benefit.
Yeah, that's not good enough.
It's exercise and entertainment.
Yeah, that's not good enough. Move on.
Why not? Why not? Why is it wrong?
Because your friend literally tried to grab me in a corner and said,
No, Razzo, stop. Why is it wrong for me to kick the dog?
Are you gonna let me answer?
No, because you're going on to some other answer. Can you answer my question?
Okay. Well, I'll play it.
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
It isn't.
Why is it wrong?
It isn't.
It's not wrong for me to kick this dog for entertainment and exercise.
Listen, if you're not going to harm an animal for the rule of consumption, then yes.
Razzo, I think it's hilarious you can't answer my question. Because you know where I'm going. Can you tell me why is it immoral for me to get entertainment and exercise from kicking this dog?
Well, because there's no point to it. What point would you have?
I just told you I get entertainment and exercise.
No. You could have left that alone.
Yes, it is. Oh, Razzo, I got you so good. You know where I'm going. Causing that dog unnecessary harm when I can kick something else, right? That's immoral for me to be kicking that dog. I'm telling you, you're escalating the violence by removing animals' heads for entertainment. You literally only do it for taste pleasure, which is a sensory pleasure. You're taking someone's life for sensory pleasure. You're using someone's body for your sensory pleasure. And you're justifying it by saying they're shaped differently and they think differently. Those are your excuses.
We good? That's all right. I didn't know when I was ready to speak. You got
you apparently don't. You don't know when to talk at all. So we're just gonna move on. Like, wow. I really would rather. Please go ahead.
I have to understand what the point is. Like, so wait, all of a sudden, if you kick them, it's bad. But if after you kick them, you take their flesh and put it in your mouth hole, then all of a sudden everything becomes good. It's moral. All that kicking, all that everything that I've done from immoral, it becomes moral. That's such an insane thing. What if I wait 10 hours before I put their flesh in my mouth? Does that become moral? What if I wait a year? Does that become moral? Like, I fail to understand this whole idea.
Yeah. People often, when they talk about animals deserve some kind of respect, but we still should use them, have a hard time describing that line that they're clearly being a hypocrite about. They can't break it down. They'll usually just shift the goalposts so that they don't have to answer it. Yeah. Same. Gosh, I actually don't know your whole name. SameasLee?
SameasLee is good.
Oh, is it just SameasLee? Okay, SameasLee. Okay. But did you have any?
SameasLee is fine.
Say it one more time.
Sorry, I'm mumbling. My name the username is SameasLee, but you can either call me Sam or Lee.
Okay, perfect. Did you want to add anything? I didn't know if you wanted to say something. I felt like I interrupted you.
No. I talked over you once. I didn't mean to. Sorry. He just wasn't not listening to learn, just to respond. And there's like 3 or 4 people. I don't know how you feel about addressing the chat, but I've been in there. Sorry if you don't like it. But plants don't have a neural network and pain receptors. Some plants do have like something that's advanced, and that some scientists are saying is like maybe looking like it could eventually in 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years if the plant kept evolving, could be like a neural network. But there's no real science for that, guys, at all yet. So chill.
And also, I'm not sure if the pain is what matters, right? Like any animal, you could theoretically make them not feel pain, like give them an injection and then kill them. I don't think that would essentially be moral because they're not feeling pain. I think it's the subjective experience to me that matters. And plants definitely don't have that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Taking someone's ability to have more experiences is what is wrong, and plants don't have the ability to have experiences. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's pull. And you guys are also welcome to respond to comments. That's totally fine. I wouldn't necessarily do it while we're having a guest up, but yeah, I have no problem with responding to comments.
Yeah, just like in between for sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's. I don't know the order. It seems like it keeps going out of order. Let's do AJ.
Yo.
Hey, are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 27, I think. I don't remember my age that much. But so
as long as you're over 18.
You said something about people not being able to answer like the between like, oh, you got to respect the animal after you kill it or whatever.
No. I'm not talking about after. Okay, so I'm talking about sentient animals being alive right now. And if we should respect them, which means we recognize that they have the capacity to suffer, and we know we don't want to cause unnecessary harm. You know, why should we cause someone else unnecessary harm when we can eat something or wear something or watch something else?
Okay, and you also said that people kill animals so that they can get 3 filling in their mouth. So that completely fucking wrong. Nobody kills an animal just to go, oh,
you're cutting out.
I want my... Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody goes out, puts on their gear, walks out in the woods and goes, you know what, today's a good day to kill an animal because I want my mouth to tingle. No, they do it because they want to go out and they want to put food on their table. They do it because it's part of their heritage. They do it because they know where the food's coming from and that they know that it's not full of fucking hormones and probiotics and antibiotics.
Wow, that was really delayed. Okay, I understand, yes, but you don't need to even eat animals. You can use plants, which is our point. So going out into the forest and taking someone's life that was just in their home, minding their own business, doesn't that sound worse? Like, we're enslaving someone, we're enslaving 92.2 billion someones, and then you go out into the forest and pew more someones? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You can just eat plants that are not sentient. I muted you. Yeah, and no antibiotics. You don't have to worry about that at all. The mute button's right there. I'll invite you. No? There you go.
It doesn't make sense. Like, vegans, you all like try to come up with the same argument that like, oh, it's like unhumane, it's not right, like it's not moral, like we can eat plants. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna eat my fucking bloody ass steak that I cooked on my stove. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna pull out some deer meat out of my refrigerator or my freezer. I'm gonna cook it because
I mean, why are you here, AJ? Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah, like what exactly is your point? Like, oh, you vegans are doing this, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Well, our whole point here isn't necessarily to get you to do something differently, by the way, is to actually challenge your preconceived notions that what you are doing is right or is wrong. So what you're saying essentially is that we as vegans have a problem with unnecessary unaliving of animals, but you seem to think that it's all okay as long as you put their corpse on your table and then put them in your mouth hole or something. Like, I don't get that.
how does it hurt y'all? How does it hurt y'all that somebody is humanely dispatching an animal and in eating it? How does it hurt you?
Wait, humanely?
Is it because you got soft ass baby skin? What is it? Because you're
wait. Humanely? Please describe to me how taking somebody's life against their consent is humane.
Oh God, against their consent. Oh God, it's against their fucking consent, dude. You sound like a fucking little girl.
That's okay. I can sound like a little girl and still be a little boy if that's what your problem is. But I'm actually a pretty big man. I just failed to see. Do you have a problem with little girls? Is that it? Like, what even was that? Was it an attempt at an insult? Because if it was, I didn't get it.
Yeah. Sadly, TikTok does seem to be full of people like that like to They just start hurling insults, and you're like, okay, so clearly you've lost, and you don't know how to leave the panel. I don't understand why. Like, why can't we have a civil? It's fine to have some heat in our discourse, but like, I don't understand why we have to drop to name calling, because then you're going to expose more discriminations that you have, and it's going to make you look like a worse person. Like, just.
But you know what would have been fun? Because this type of people are usually the ones who will have anti-trans views. And it would have been fun to ask them, so I sound like a little girl. Are you calling me a little girl? And they would have said, yes. Okay, so I'm a girl. Does that mean that I can be a girl? And then you get into this other contradiction. So
that is a good one. That is good, because that's actually a really good point. Like, oh, so you do want me to express this other way that makes you more comfortable, even though it's not what I was born with. Oh, that's a good one. So many contradictions here.
Always.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let me grab someone else. Let's see. Hans.
Hello.
Hey, Hans. Good morning. Are you over 18?
I am.
Well, it's morning for me. I don't know, actually. Chip, what time is it for you?
It's 7 p.m. almost.
Oh my gosh, 7 p.m. All right. All right, Hans. So you're over 18. Why aren't you vegan yet?
I'm not vegan because I enjoy the taste of meat, number one. Number two, I kind of wanted to touch base on the hunting conversation that you guys were having in a much more respectful tone. I don't know. I'm from Michigan, so I mean, the way I look at it is, if there were no hunting regulations or things in place, deer would be overrun around here. You wouldn't be able to drive. You wouldn't be able to move around at all. I mean,
do you hunt?
I do.
Okay. Have you thought about other alternatives to managing their population, or do you just jump to the gun?
I mean, there's really not a way to manage their population. I mean, they grow so rapidly.
There's other alternatives. There's birth control. There's properly managing their habitats. We could eliminate animal agriculture. That would reduce our ag land use by 75%. We could allow them to have that space back. And we could still feed our population and then some with a quarter of our current ag land.
I think that would work for a while, but once they grow to a point,
why are they overpopulated?
Because they're not being hunted as much anymore. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, if
where
you look
are
at
their
the numbers,
predators?
Hunters are going down. What do you mean they're predators? We are their predators.
So they had natural predators. It was a time before humans intervened. Sure, bears, wolves, right?
I'm talking strictly in like where I'm from, right? I'm not talking about. I understand. Tigers and all that, you know.
I know, but where you're at, the reason why these animals are coming into human areas is because their natural habitats have been disturbed by us.
Correct.
They didn't have an overpopulation issue. So they didn't have an overpopulation issue until we came into the game. So what should happen is, since we can cut down our land use, we should give back land to them, properly manage their habitats, and not be taking out their natural predators, which is what naturally maintains the balance out in the wild.
I don't know. I mean, like, do you know
human hunting?
Who's the deer representative that you're going to be able to communicate with and negotiate these terms? You know, they're animals at the end of the day.
Do you know an interesting thing? Do you know why there are no more predators there?
Because of us.
And do you know why specifically because of us?
Because we've shot and killed most of them.
And do you know why we shot and killed most of the predators?
Yes, because we needed to expand and live our lives not in fear of, the outside elements.
Then that's a common misconception. The reason why there are no more predators is because animal agriculture has been complaining that predators would come and they would kill the animals we domesticated. So the reason why there is a deer population issue, as you mentioned, is because you support an industry that essentially removed their predators.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is this: at the end of the day, I eat halal meat only, where animals are killed in a humane way, and it's a much cleaner process
So wait, before we move on, are you in agreement with the idea that hunting animals even to maintain their population is wrong?
I do not. I'm sorry. No, I
You
believe
do not.
that the human element in a responsible way. Obviously there's a season for killing deer. It's not open season where you can kill them all year long. I think there's a very responsible way to keep the population at bay, to where they can continue to grow, where people can continue to eat, and the deers can continue to live on.
But
I don't agree.
But you were told, and I'm curious, do you think there are other methods that are more humane than killing them?
Do I think there are methods that are, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I want to continue to eat meat. So, I mean, like, what
That's
you
not the
said
question,
basically
though.
was negotiating like a land deal with them and giving them more land. And then I think that just drives us out and gives them more land. I mean, I just said already, for a while that could work, but then there's going to come a point where there's going to be too many of them. And then what do you do? I mean, because again, I live in a state where there's a lot of deer, right? It's going to get to a point where they're going to be running all over the road, and they're going to cause so many more accidents and so many more human deaths. So, I mean, I guess
There's birth control. There's birth
do you
control.
value human lives more or animal lives more?
You're not even recognizing that I gave you a solution. You're not even going to acknowledge that.
That's not
It's
a
called
solution.
Norvac.
You need birth control. You're going to be running
called
around
Norvac.
throwing Plan B up these deer's fucking pussies. What are you talking about?
No,
Okay,
so you
take it
can't-
down.
All right,
Yeah,
sorry.
so you know that animals, we know what deers eat, and we can put essentially anything we want in their food, and therefore thus giving them birth control. So I fail to, like, you don't even have to hunt them down. It would be considerably cheaper. It would be more humane. And so I fail to see why you would have a problem with that, and instead you would want to kill them with a rifle. Like, why is that better? How is that more humane?
And just to add on to that before you respond, Hans, I've heard people propose, like, hunters, you're not carrying a rifle, you're just carrying a camera, and you're taking food out, and you're distributing that, and that is your means of population control. Instead of out there murdering and slaughtering, you're spreading, medicine to help curb the population. So what would you be opposed to that idea?
Yeah, I don't know about the long-term effects on that. I'm going to be honest. I don't have enough research on it, so I'm not going to argue against it. It's something that I'm absolutely going to look into. So yeah, I'm again, I don't want to.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do
Yeah.
is ask you to look into things. Obviously, we're just TikTok people,
I'll
right?
look into it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about
cool.
it to respond relevantly. So yeah, I'll look into it. And good.
So if you find out that what we're saying is true, would you advocate against hunting and for this solution?
I don't know if I would advocate against it because, listen, in my area, right? I mean, I don't hunt to survive personally, right? I do it for sport, and I mean, I enjoy the meat. I don't waste any of it. I donate it when I'm not going to be able to finish all of it. But there's other places in the country, like, I don't know, I've heard stories of people in Missouri, right, where they need to hunt to survive because there's no jobs, there's no money. That's how they put food on the table. So I mean, again, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, but all this thing that you started with, that it's about population control, wasn't actually the truth, right? Because what you said is that you do it, for you it isn't, because the reason why you do it is you said out of sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me personally. But again, it's a much broader spectrum, though, right?
Yeah. So you came up with
you're saying advocate. When I think
came
advocate,
up with this explanation that made you feel a little bit better about your choices. But at the end of the day, as an activity, what you say sport is hunting down an innocent animal and taking their whole existence away. Because couldn't you possibly do any other sport, or do you feel like you need to do that?
I don't know if I would say it's a need. Again, like me personally, I said, like, I could go to the grocery store and afford to purchase meat that was killed in a humane way and eat it. Deer is not something that I find, especially not halal. So I can personally kill it. I can say the prayer, slit his throat, make sure that, its body's being sacrificed, and then process the meat in a healthy way. So if I want to eat deer, I have to go kill it myself, and I have to say the prayer, and I have to sacrifice its body, and I have to use it that way, But,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go on, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. When you said advocate, when I think of advocating, I'm thinking on like, you know, a nationwide scale, like joining PETA or something like that. And I wouldn't be able to advocate for other people not being able to put food on their table. That's just, I don't know, that's the way I look at it.
So we absolutely understand necessity when people are in a situation where they don't have a choice. I would argue, though, they are still living through an injustice because they don't have access to healthy foods. We're finding more and more in science that humans thrive on plant-based diets. So to deny people access to become vegan, to me, is an injustice because they're literally being forced to either cross their principles or consume food that might be making them sick. Go ahead, Sam.
And I would just challenge that people who say where is there not access? Because I've lived in some pretty rural areas I could have still done a total vegan lifestyle and been just as like healthy, you know. So like, where do these people not have access to stuff, or what? Like, what is this topic really about? I typically find that it's people who are like, it's a taste pleasure thing disguised as an excuse that there's no access to stuff.
Right.
But before we move on to that, I still don't want to move on from this idea that you just mentioned, that you hunt as a sport. Do you think hunting as a sport is moral?
I mean, yeah, when you're not doing it just to kill an animal and wasting its meat and leaving its carcass out, you know, if you're using it to eat and, I mean, you know, nourish yourself and your family, absolutely, it's moral.
You're not hunting to eat. As you pointed out yourself, you're hunting
When I hunt,
sport.
I do. Hold on. The purpose may be sport. The purpose may be sport, but I don't do it just to waste the animal.
It doesn't really matter what you do.
The animal's
body
and its uses and everything, it doesn't go to waste, my friend. I don't do it. In that case, that's how I look at it as humane. If you were just going around sniping random deer and just leaving their bodies to rot, and to me, that's what I think is inhumane.
So wait. The act of taking the life of a sentient being becomes inhumane the minute that you take their flesh and put it in your mouth hole. And if you don't do that, it's inhumane. But if you do that, it's humane. Is that what you're saying?
Plus,
that's kind of a weird statement to begin with. But plus, like, let's imagine this situation, right? When you leave home, you don't leave home to get food. You leave home to practice your sport activity. You put your rifle there and you say, today I'm going to practice sport. And in that practice, I may kill a sentient being. If I happen to do that, sure, I will also get some nutrition out of it. I will get some benefit from it. But your intent is to get exercise, to get to sport. How is that ever moral?
My fault. I was coughing up a lung over here. I don't know, man. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree respectfully.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm sorry. I don't know how we can agree to disagree, because like what happens if you shoot the deer?
I'm just trying to be respectful. Like you're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change your mind.
I'm asking you this other question.
I kind of want to just leave it at that, though. You know.
But answer this
respectfully. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yeah, running away.
Run away. I'm trying to be respectful, bro. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change yours. Respectfully, suck a dick, and I'll go fuck myself. How does that sound?
Okay, I will do that. But,
all right,
but
great.
Respectfully, can you answer? Oh, that's just. I hate these people that they can't possibly answer a single question. What happens if the deer does not die? You don't collect their flesh. Does that mean it's moral to harm a deer just because it's sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really. Oh, go ahead.
Deer I'm so sorry. The statistics on deer who are like shot and then get away and then they're like harmed or have a limp for the rest of their life or something. You know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lori.
Oh,
hey, Lori.
Hey, guys. Hi.
What's up?
All right, nothing. Just miss you.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
That guy. I wanted to ask him though, like, wouldn't it be preferable if we didn't have to take the deer's life? Because he said he was doing it because of population control, right? He did say he was doing it for sport as well, but it was for population control. So wouldn't it be preferable to not take the deer out? It'd be preferable to find some way that they can continue living out their full lives instead of having fun of taking their life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I just came in the conversation.
Yeah, that's true. I know you just popped in right at the end. I just don't understand people that like to go out and hunt and claim that they're doing it just for environmental or like for a good reason. It's like, but wouldn't you be looking at other options as well if you were doing it for responsible reasons? The only reason why they're excited to go out and hunt is because they benefit from it. They benefit from someone else's exploitation. And that's why he doesn't want to stop. It's just frustrating.
That's correct. Yeah. You're correct.
Oh, Chip, also, I wanted to mention there has been a TikTok issue where you might not be able to mute yourself. Let me know if that's the case. I can re-add you. I added you back as a mod, but sometimes I have to undo you and re-add you, and it'll let you. I don't know why it's doing it. It does it to Lori all the time where she can't mute herself. So let me know if you need assistance in that or something. I know TikTok is frustrating sometimes.
It's just a lot of buttons, but yeah, I can mute myself so far, so it's good. Thank you.
Cool, right on. Yeah, no problem. Also, ask any questions. There's a lot I still don't know about TikTok, but I'm sure that we have plenty of people in here that could answer our questions. All right. Let's bring up Blue Jay. I know you've been sitting there a minute. Maybe I let you sit there too long. Dang. Well, Blue Jay, if you're still there and you want to come up, I would suggest step out of the app and come back in. It doesn't seem to be bringing you up right now. All right. Let's see, we'll bring up Mike. Hey, Mike. Actually, Lori, do you want to bring up? Hi, Mike. Hold on one second. Lori, are you okay to bring up guests? I don't know if you want to do that or not.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
I'll let you do it. And like I said, I don't know the order, so your guess is as good as mine.
I never do either, so that's cool.
All right. Hey, Mike. So you're over 18, right?
I'm 19.
Perfect. Okay. And then why aren't you vegan yet?
Well, the problem I have is I do understand where you're coming from, where the the way they kill these or should I say that word?
Start the sentence over again. Maybe I didn't really understand that.
Use unalive.
Oh yeah, don't use the K word.
The way they unalive these animals is very cruel. But I only eat halal food, where there's a specific way they unalive the animal to where it's ethical, where I could still eat it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you care about the experiences that the individual animals are having, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You care if they experience unnecessary harm.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything you think that you do need from animal products that you couldn't get from other sources?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Is there any nutrients that is specific to animal products you can't get from plant-based products?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So would it not be abusive or, harmful to use someone without their consent or to take away their ability to have experiences, even in a nice way, when you don't need to?
Well, with these animals, they don't have the complex brains like us humans do. So I don't really know if it's really...
Well, what do the animals want?
Well, the animals have to survive and reproduce.
Do they want to continue living?
We don't know.
We do actually. We do actually. So animals are sentient, just like us, and sentient beings all share the same interest in continuing to live. We want to continue having experiences and weighing them out, deciding if we like them or not. We usually prefer to avoid harm, and we like things that make us comfortable.
Absolutely. I can agree with that.
All right. So knowing that you don't need to use animals, you can thrive without using them, doesn't that make using them abusive and harmful, even if they're not aware of it? because you can use something else.
Absolutely, but I mean, the reality is that animals do that to each other as well. They unalive each other just like how we do. Honestly, the way other animals unalive each other is probably more brutal than the way we do.
But does that justify your actions of demanding someone be enslaved and then have their life taken from them? Like, just because somebody else is doing something that we might consider immoral, does that really make what you do moral or immoral? Or is it what you do, the direct action, what makes something moral or immoral? Like, just because animals are harming each other, does that mean that you harming someone is now moral?
Well, I'm not really harming them because I'm still harming them from the fact that I'm still unaliving them. But there's also a reason why I eat halal food.
Right, you care about their welfare, but I'm saying, since you care that they shouldn't experience unnecessary suffering or harm, or have their freedoms taken from them unless you need to, knowing that you can get everything from other sources makes animal use abusive. You're forcing someone to go through something we wouldn't even put our worst humans through for taste pleasure.
Well, let me tell you something about humans. Sometimes the best thing to do for a human is to take them off of life support. Can you agree with that?
Right, but that's in their, sometimes, if it's in their best interest, yeah.
Okay, so
using animals is not in their best interest, it's in your best interest. Using them is to their demise.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But also another good point is that overpopulation can also be just as detrimental as unaliving the animals in a brutal way.
Do you mean like the animals that were forced breeding into existence? Because we could just stop breeding them. If we stop breeding right now, the oldest living animals that we use live to be maybe 20, at most 40, and it would be rare. So that means after 20 years, if we stop breeding all animals and just cared for who's here, in 20 years, there wouldn't be any more domesticated animals, and we wouldn't have to have a conversation about whether it's right or wrong to use them without their consent, because we would just have other things to use.
Can I ask Mike a question?
Please, jump in, Lori, yeah.
Do you know how halal is done, Mike? How the animal is unalived? I don't.
But I know that it's supposed to be a peaceful way for them to,
No, it's not. What they do is they take the animal in a concrete place and they cut their throat and they let them bleed out. That's what they do. So the animal feels everything. And now on the market over in Europe, I would say the Middle East, they have come up with a new machine that can put 4 animals in at one time and it rotates. So these live animals are hearing their friends scream as their head is getting chopped off, and they're turning and they chop each head off. And this is a new machine the European Islamic states have just come out with that they're trying to sell. So, in fact, their deaths are not a good way to go. And neither are the ones we have in our slaughter system. It's just not, because every animal that's in line, that's put through a chute, hears every other animal before them. They can smell the blood. They can hear the scream until they're dead. And half the time, even our ways of doing it is not correct, because they will shoot them in the head with a gun bolt, and half the time they miss, and then the cow is still alive, or the sheep, and they gas pigs, and they foam ducks. So I don't know if you've really looked into your halal. Are you from there? Or it's just because of the word halal?
I'm from there.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised you don't know then. That's how it's done. But they don't clean up the areas before they kill the cow either. There's blood all over the ground. So do you not think that they wouldn't smell that? Or hear the animal in there before them? Because that's what they're doing. Just to let you know. So it's not a moral way. There's no way to kill morally. There's just no way to kill. Because if we did, every single prison here in the United States would be empty. But for tax purposes and money, we keep the worst of the worst humans alive, unfortunately. So, it's just, there's just no way to unalive something that doesn't want to die or that knows what death is.
Okay, so I completely understand your viewpoint. Okay. And I respect vegans. I respect them because they have a good heart, and they think about these animals, right? And
Yes.
and you guys say that there's no ethical way to kill or to unalive. My bad.
Mm-hmm. We love TikTok shop.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
I wonder. So, would you guys kill or unalive mosquitoes?
I can answer.
Or bees or wasps.
Let Chip answer this one.
Yeah, sure. So in the case of a mosquito or a bee, I would obviously not unalive a bee unless they're me. Anyway, in that situation, a lot of the times, bees die after they attack you, depending on the species of the bee. But if they're coming into my house, they're bothering me, they're basically threatening my life, threatening my life, mosquitoes are the number one toy. They're essentially wanting to drink my blood. Then I feel like I'm defending myself by killing them. Don't go outside hunting mosquitoes. If they come into my space, I will try to take them out to take. But otherwise, if they will not, I will protect my space.
But like you said before, there's no ethical way to kill.
There, in situations of self-defense, it is morally justified for you to commit violence. Like if somebody is attacking you, would you not want to defend yourself by being violent? If that's what is needed.
But the answer is not always to kill.
I'm not saying to unalive them. What I'm saying is that I will try to do my best to take them out without unaliving them. But if I cannot do that, if the only way to defend my house or myself is to unalive them, then I will resort to that.
Okay. And bugs don't feel pain like we do, or animals. They've already pretty much proven that right now, as science states.
That bugs don't feel the same pain that humans and other animals.
They feel pressure and they feel heat. But other than that, they don't feel pain like we do. They don't have the receptors like we do, and like animals do.
Plus, again, like the whole point of it is different situations. Again, one is a situation where an animal or a bug, again, is coming into my personal space, whether on my body or whether in my house, and they don't want to leave. I'm well within my rights to do something about it, and I would be justified morally. But that does not mean that that I have moral justification to go around outside of my house, to go around in a place where bugs just live on their own and go ahead and kill them. Just like I'm not morally justified to do that to any other sentient being on this planet. If any sentient being is attacking me, including a human being, I will defend myself, and I hope I try not to unalive them. But if that happens in the process, then it is sadly part of the process of me defending myself.
Yes, and I can completely agree with that. So that debunks the whole standpoint that there's no moral or ethical unaliving, because at some point you have to defend yourself as an animal. So I also have a second question, or a second scenario. So what if there's let's say there's like a big cockroach on your wall. What are you going to do to that cockroach that's just laying there and is not attacking you? It's just a big roach on the wall.
Same. I will try to take them out.
And why is that?
So what are you going to do if there's a human being in your house? They're not attacking you. They're in your house. You will try to take them out. It is your space where you need to feel safe. I'm not saying, again, go around killing unaliving humans or unaliving animals. I'm saying take them out of your house just like you would any other sentient being.
It's not in your personal space, though.
If it's in my house, it's in my personal space.
Okay, fair point. If it's in your restaurant, though, let's say you work at a restaurant.
But you keep coming up with these excuses. Like, do you understand the difference between need and not need? Because all these situations that you're coming up with are situations where it is arguably needed for you to take some form of measures against the place where those beings are, right? Like if they're in a restaurant, in order for you to keep your restaurant open, you would have to kick them out. It's not like you may have an issue or they may bother you. It's just legally required for you to do so. So it's kind of the same thing. You're in a place where you have to do it. It's not necessarily that you want to do it, but you have to do it.
Okay, so that's another fair point. So in certain situations, let's say because I do have family that lives in America, okay, and at some point, I know sometimes they go through, recession. And at some point, it's going to be hard to find all the vegan food that they need, the nutrients, right, that they need, because either it's too expensive or they just don't have the stock for those vegan food. So at some point, they may have to buy the animal products.
But that's factually, the thing about that is that it is a very difficult situation to happen, because a lot of the times people forget that a lot of the times people imagine that these animals just exist, but they have to be fed. And a lot of the times the things that they are fed are usually things that we can also eat ourselves. And even if they are not things that we can eat ourselves, a lot of the times the land that we use to feed these animals, even if we grow something else that we feed them, we could use it to grow food for us. So imagining a situation where we have somehow enough food to make animal products, but not enough food to make food for humans, is kind of a weird situation. But even in that situation, I can answer your question. And I would not advocate, and I'm sure as any other vegan on this planet, would not advocate for humans unaliving or starving. We don't advocate for this kind of stuff. What we're advocating for is if you have the option to not exploit a sentient being, then you should not exploit a sentient being. But this option should be an intellectually honest option, because a lot of the times people will say, well, I don't really have that option, when in fact they never looked into it, when in fact they don't acknowledge the options that they have. So yeah, it's important that if you have an intellectually honest option, to choose a plant-based diet, because it's not just about diet, it's about clothes and other situations also. But if you have an intellectually honest position where you acknowledge that you can make different choices, then there is no moral justification for you to make the choice that is inherently violent, inherently harms another sentient being, and inherently exploits another sentient being.
That is a great explanation. That is a great explanation. And I love that explanation. Okay. That's why I respect the vegans. But, you know, some people like me, okay, I'm going to take accountability. I am still going to eat meat. Now, don't hate me, but maybe at some point, maybe I may, change my mind and become vegan one day. But that's not going to happen for the foreseeable future. But I love you.
So, why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Why, if you think it's the right thing to do, if you recognize what we're saying, that these are innocent, sentient beings that are being forced through a system because you're voting for them to be there, why wouldn't you want to do that immediately? Why wouldn't you want to stop supporting that?
I just love meat. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, have you even tried any of the vegan alternatives?
I did have a vegan, but it was like a bean burger at this chicken place.
So you just have one vegan meal?
Yes, that I can recall. Yes.
So I would strongly urge you to reach out to this Challenge 22, because if you truly do understand what we're saying, and maybe you're worried about finding that taste pleasure that you think you're gonna miss, you can talk to these professionals. They can help you find the products that are around you. But I would also challenge you, does taste pleasure really justify violating someone?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but
veganism,
you say that, but let me put it this way. If I say I respect women, but then I go around beating women, then I don't really respect women, do I? So you say taste pleasure does not really justify violating somebody, but then your actions say otherwise, don't they?
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, but I'm not the one hurting other people. I'm not beating women. I'm not beating these cows. I'm just eating what's out there.
So we could change the hypothetical. Could I say that I am for men's rights because I'm a woman and pay for someone to beat up men? Would that be me respecting them? Or in Chip's example, if he paid somebody to beat women for him, is Chip respecting women? Could he still say that he respects women?
No.
Right. Even though he's not the one causing the harm, he's still demanding it, right?
Yes.
That's all we're trying to point out. Your demand has a direct tie to the next person in line.
Like I said, maybe I will
understand.
consider it in the future.
I just wanted you to understand the urgency of it. I appreciate that you're going to take the time to go look at things, and it does take a moment to go absorb things. But I want you to be properly motivated, because it's not a dietary preference, right? We're people that are against. We realize what was happening to someone, and that it was because of our demand that it was there, and we wanted to stop. And if maybe you haven't seen what the animals go through, you should watch Dominion just to really understand why vegans, why are we even out here telling you, right? If it was just about a slight preference to change things or environmental, I don't think that people would have the same, I don't see people online talking about veganism for the environment, really, because there's just not that same burn, right? But when you think about the victims involved, it's not even about you anymore. It's about just demanding their unnecessary harm. You don't want to be the reason that they're shaking in that cage.
I completely understand that. And you know what? Maybe not today, but maybe, like I said, in the future, I would consider it.
Okay, carry this in your mind. How many more animals do you want exploited for you? What number?
0.
Right. And if it's 0, right, the only way to do that is to live vegan. All right, I'll let you hold that in mind. Go check out these resources. Maybe take a screenshot. You can watch these documentaries. They're free on YouTube. Dairy is Scary is only 10 minutes. Dominion's a little longer, but it goes over how we use animals in all fashions. We go over all animals like fish as well. So just so, you're aware, if you go back to that grocery store, you're not, I feel like those labels and the signs, they almost put us at ease and encourage us to buy things regardless of our principles. So you need to know what those labels mean so they don't hypnotize you, because we tend to paint this picture in our mind for them. We make this commercial of happy animals in our mind. But when you know what those labels mean and what they allow to happen to somebody, you know that you don't want to be a part of that. You'll see that label and, oh God, I know what that is. I have a visual.
Absolutely. Awesome.
I appreciate you coming up.
Give Dominion a watch. Dominion looks very detailed. Okay.
It's a great documentary. It just shows standard practice, and it shows you grass-fed, small local farms, small local slaughterhouses. It just shows you all those labels and what does that mean.
Yeah, and Mike, even though you're not doing the unaliving, somebody's doing it for you. So, think about that. You're paying for somebody to do the work for you.
Okay. I appreciate you guys for having me. Okay. I'll give it a try, guys.
And before you say, if you see that, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. So if you come back on a live, or you can message any of us privately, I'd love to hear if anything's changed for you or how's it going.
Okay. All right. Cool. You guys take care.
Yeah. See you later. Thanks, Mike, for coming up. Right on. Well, that was promising. It's good to have open-minded people up.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ready for your next one?
That was really interesting to sit back and listen to.
The roller coaster. Yes, Lord, please throw one at us.
Crazy.
Hey, Dan.
How you doing?
Good. Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. So why aren't you vegan yet?
I would like to ask you the question first, because I've been watching this account for a really long time, and always the other side is gonna start talking first, and you guys gonna analyze what he's saying on when he's gonna say like
kind of the
weak point. Yeah, I know, I understand. It's like manipulation thing. When he's gonna say like a weak point, you guys gonna interrupt, and you're gonna.
I mean, you're gonna we're talking about someone's.
But I've never seen like.
Okay, Dan.
What is
Dan, I understand you're coming up here already offended. I want you to understand where we're coming from. We're talking about someone's inherent rights to life and how they're being violated unnecessarily. And if you were in their situation, I would imagine you would want somebody standing up for your rights as well. So, like, how kind am I supposed to be? Like, if I was an abolitionist speaking up for enslaved people, how kind should I be to the people enslaving those individuals, right? So there's a limit. Sometimes, yeah, we're going to get upset. And I think that we're justified in it. But coming up here and talking about it... Oh, go ahead, Chip. Please go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just want to add, because I hate that word manipulation. We're not manipulating anybody. We're simply asking hard questions. And obviously we are, while asking hard questions, we are driving people in a certain direction, because otherwise your mind would just let you wander loose. And the whole point of it is to understand a different perspective than one that you've been taught. We're not manipulating anybody. We're just asking hard questions.
You muted yourself, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. So then why aren't you vegan yet?
My main thing is I want to understand, why are you vegan? Is it because for the animal that, like, do you want the animal to live in peace, or do you believe like the vegetation is better for us, or you feel like more related to the prey that you don't want us to kill it?
Wait, Dan, you said you've been coming to this channel for a while now. how is it that you've been coming for a while and you have not understood this so far? Have you been listening?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't understand what you guys saying, but I'm saying that you're not providing the point that make you vegan. You know.
Oh, I can sum it up real short for you. I can sum it up. I'll sum it up for you, Dan. Look, I'll eliminate all confusion here. We are sentient beings. I myself am a sentient being. I derive my morals from my brain and from talking to other people. I would like to avoid harm. I like to be comfortable, and I don't like when someone harms me or uses me without my consent. That's something we share with all sentient beings. And if I demand that to be respected in me as a sentient being, then I have a moral obligation to reflect that same respect to others, right? What other reason is there for me to respect your autonomy, right? Other than the fact that I know you have the capacity to suffer and you're having your own subjective experience. That's it. I don't need to use you. I can use other things. Your freedom and autonomy are the first priority, right? Not my needs of your body.
Right.
Go ahead, Jim.
I understand that.
Oh, sorry.
Right. I understand that you're saying you're gonna fight for my freedom, but the thing is, do you believe the animals are equal to the human? Because
I think that we're morally the same. I think that what we value in other humans is the same thing that animals have. We only care about the sentience of humans. We don't care about their intelligence. We don't care about what they provide for society. We care that they're having a subjective experience, right? Even a human that has no family, has nothing, no ties to anyone, that can't provide anything for anyone, it still would be immoral, and I would hope you would agree, I would think it'd be immoral to exploit that person. Animals are just in a different shaped body. Just because they don't think the same and they don't look the same doesn't mean that they want to unalive themselves. They're sentient beings just like you and me.
Right. So I also believe like the human are also animals, but
we are.
Yeah, I believe that, but I don't believe that other animals have the same right to us. I believe.
Did you hear what I just said?
I understand.
What did I just say? Repeat to me what I just broke down to you.
You said about like we cannot leave the other human, or we cannot kick him out. Same thing is going to be to the other animals. But
so what was I relating in those two individuals?
Yeah, but the point is the human are
No, Dan, I need
hybrid.
you to grasp this. This is the point. This is sentience is the point. That is the point. That is it. They have the capacity to suffer. You don't need to use them. Done.
Yeah, but we are hybrid. We are.
That doesn't matter. I don't care what you're saying. They have the capacity to suffer. You do not need to use them. That's it. It's that simple.
You feel more related to the animals, right?
Dan, you're adding things in. It doesn't matter. Repeat what I just said to you. What is it that matters?
I want to.
What do I care about? Dan, what do I care about? Tell me. I need to know that you're actually listening.
Point, you know,
are you listening?
Yeah, I'm
Hello,
listening,
Dan, are you there? What did I say is all that matters?
You didn't provide a clear point.
Dan. Okay, you got a notepad ready? Sentience. Sentience. Say it with me, Dan. Say sentience. Say the word sentience.
I don't need to say it.
Say the word sentience.
I don't have to listen to you.
Then I don't think you can listen. I think you're really incapable. Guys. Okay, I would like to talk to some honest actors. Look, I get that we get heated, we can dig our heels, we start to feel a little bit of a bruising of our egos, but it takes a strong person to really be able to look inward and go, you know what? Actually, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen that yet, or I have actually, but very rare. Where are my people that are like, you know what? I'm here to have a true conversation, not just try to debate into absurdism. Or not be honest, not respond honestly. Like, I know you guys have to hear what I'm saying, right? You're not just sitting there to respond. Go ahead. You can throw one at me, Lori, if you're there, or I can just grab one too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Oh, I guess not.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you don't be sorry. Yeah. Didn't want to be up here. Sometimes some people accidentally hit the guest button, or excuse me, request button.
Yeah.
Oh, JJ, I think we've spoken before.
No, I've seen you first time.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of people called JJ on here.
Define sentience for me. Define sentience.
An individual having a subjective experience and weighing out those experiences on whether they prefer them or not.
Well,
they're having subjective emotions. JJ, I can't hear you if you're outside the app.
I'm sorry. That's my bad.
That's okay.
The definition that I learned was sentience is the capacity of thinking for oneself. How do animals think for themselves when they're driven by survival instincts?
Oh, I'm not going to argue with you on whether animals are sentient. It's already been confirmed. So you can look up the Cambridge Declaration. Yeah, you can look up. So look up the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness and the New York Declaration of Consciousness. They go over all the behavioral and all the other studies where they look at animals and how they came to the conclusion that animals are sentient, including lobsters and what was the other one that was kind of on the edge?
And why have we
octopus
evolved to a point where we have
you can go ask those doctors. Go ask those scientists why they decided to study that. It doesn't matter. The evidence is there. So what is your reason for using sentient beings when you don't need to?
Because you're going by what you said. Literally, you said that animals that are not on humans that are sentient. They're not. That's scientifically proven.
JJ, I'm not going to talk with you if you're going to deny science. Animals are sentient.
What your guys
are going to deny it?
Pseudoscience. You're spreading pseudoscience. Like
wait.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chip.
That's okay. That's okay.
If JJ wants to come back up, I'll bring him back up. He's right here.
This whole thing that it's pseudoscientific. No, animals in fact do think. Animals do in fact learn both fast, slow, and ultra slow. Hey JJ, so can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so animals do think. They do also learn. They learn both slow and ultra slow. Do you know what the difference between fast, slow, and ultra slow learning is?
Yes, it's based on probably.
No, so it's simple. Fast thinking or fast learning is this thing which you almost call it instinct, is how you give a response instantly. You don't even have to think about it. Slow learning or slow thinking is when you essentially have to, if I ask you what is 255 multiplied by 3, you will have your brain all of a sudden has to take a time and in order to give a response. And ultra slow learning is when you go into a subject so deep and you want to learn so much about it that you become specialized in that, and that is synonymous to what we do in colleges. And there actually are studies showing that animals do that same thing that we do. It's just that they have completely different variables, completely different inputs than we do. Because, for example, for you as a human, your sight is monumentally more important than for a human being who is blind. The experience that a blind person has of the world, the way they learn, the way they experience the world is monumentally different than yours. You would even say that I believe that the difference between you and a blind person may be even bigger than the difference between you and an animal on how you experience life.
Okay, I understand. So could you agree that's part of survival of the fittest, the Darwinism idea?
Wait, what is survival of the fit? What is part of the
survival of the fittest? You're adapting to one's condition, self's condition, pretty much.
No, I know what survival of the fittest is. I don't understand what you want me to acknowledge that is survival of the fittest.
Okay, I agree that specifically humans and animals have common ground when it comes to adapt. That's part of our, I believe, our reptilian brain of survival. What I don't agree with is that I still don't believe that well, obviously mankind is sentient, but like, for example, a dog is not gonna be sentient because obviously they probably don't have the same brain as human beings. They are not developed.
Do dogs make decisions?
Not drastic decisions like mankind make.
Doesn't matter what kind of decisions. Does a dog make decisions on their own based on whatever logic they have in their head?
Based on impulse, not logic. It's based on.
So wait. A dog that sniffs around and chooses where they go, number one or number two. Do you think they do that based on instinct, or do you think they do that based on a certain preference or some form of logic that they've been taught?
That's how they were raised, and that's not how they were raised. That's how they were evolved, probably, and developed. Like.
So wait, how do you then explain the fact that cats go number two in a place that we as humans have told them to go number two?
So repeat that for me again.
So how do you explain the fact that certain animals that we keep in our houses, we have taught things, and that we taught them, you need to go number two here, you need to do this number two. How do you explain that? How do you explain these animals being able to think enough to do that?
It's called humans training them to develop.
Okay, but how do you explain that from the perspective of the animal? This doesn't sound like instinct to me, does it? It's not instinctive because the animal clearly is doing something that you taught them to do. That is literally not instinct.
Okay. I understand you're training them to do that.
So they can learn. That means that they don't only go by instinct.
They adapt and survive, pretty much. They adapt and also...
So wait, no. They learn.
This is my cat in the background, excuse me. I just don't understand. Like, also another thing... All right,
what don't you understand? Wait, can you acknowledge that animals learn?
Yes.
Okay, so if animals learn, then animals don't only do actions based on instinct, but also based on actions that they have learned, just like humans.
Yeah, but they're not going to preach like their opinions on other things, like how humans are. Like another thing that
how would you know? Wait, how would you know? How would you know if animals preach or not if you cannot speak their language?
Because they're not developed as we are. Like, that's just scientific evidence. Like,
how? What? Tell me specifically which part of the brain gives you the capability to preach, and tell me which animals don't have that part of the brain.
I do believe it's the prefrontal cortex, the front of the brain.
And animals don't have the prefrontal cortex. You're saying
not as developed as the humans. I didn't say they don't have it.
Okay, so they do have it. That means they may be able to preach, but not as complex topics as us.
Well, can we jump to a different topic? 'Cause I think you're trumping on that, I have to admit. But another thing is how you guys support like vegan leather or vegan materials, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you guys know that you're probably supporting more carbon footprint because vegan leather or synthetic leather. And how the WHO literally says the production of synthetic leather creates more carbon than probably cattle alone.
You said probably?
It's been proven by the WHO. Look it up.
So, have you looked at the process that animal-based leather goes through? The people that make it tend to have higher rates of cancer. They dip them in big pools of chemicals over and over again.
It's not the cattle's fault. Well, the chemical part, yes. Like borax.
After that, if they didn't do that, the leather would deteriorate really quick. It's skin.
That's not my point I'm trying to get. My point is
so what I'm trying to tell you is that we have alternatives, and I want to add that to have the animal-based products, we're dedicating 83% of our ag land. So if you're worried about the environment, we could feed over our current population if we eliminated animal agriculture. We could feed them on a quarter of our current agricultural land. But instead, we're dedicating 83% of our agricultural land to purely raising animals for their flesh secretions and their food.
Well, we've done that for millions of years, so why
Right,
change?
but that doesn't matter. That doesn't change
How does that
anything.
not matter?
Right now, we can
Humans
stop
are
doing...
biologically omnivores.
The only thing looking back helps is that we can learn from the past. And what we've learned is that when we realize we can do better, we should do better. We don't need to use animals. Let's change that. It's harming the animals, it's harming the planet, and it's ultimately harming humans as well, as cardiovascular diseases are our number one unaliver.
Well,
so the perks of veganism really are great for environment and health. But the reason why we're vegan is... Oh, go ahead, Chip. Please step in.
I just want to add this one thing, because I really dislike the fact that you came in here all victimizing yourself and calling us doing pseudoscience when you are making complete pseudoscientific statements from the first place. So you said the World Health Organization has said that synthetic leather is monumentally worse for the environment, or has a worse carbon footprint than actual leather. I actually, while you were discussing right now, have been doing some form of research in these regards. And the World Health Organization has not made any of these statements. The only statements they have made about leather is the fact that leather itself, in regions like Bangladesh, for example, because residents are living near hazardous tanneries, they face severe health risks, with about 90% of them dying before the age of 50 due to exposure to toxic chemicals used in leather processing. So in fact, it is animal-based leather that is the worst one. And on top of all that, like, obviously it was pretty suspicious, the fact that you make such a statement that somehow animal-based leather is better for the environment than plant-based leather. Based on which markers? When you say a carbon footprint, do you mean like what? Do you mean CO2? Do you mean land use? Do you mean water use? Do you mean eutrophication? What exactly is your point here? Because you make these statements and you call us pseudoscientific when in fact you are the one who is being pseudoscientific.
And actually, in terms of just raw CO2 emissions, animal leather takes the crown by like 5x. So you're just completely wrong on that, JJ.
Yeah, and vegan leather has doesn't cause any problems with the atmosphere or the earth. Nothing like cow leather.
okay, whatever. But like I said, we've been surviving on meat for thousands and millions of years. And literally, plants have much more feelings. Like when you kill a plant, they're going to feel it.
Can we just like witness this crazy pivot he just did and see how beautiful that was? And then he like stumbled and muttered.
You guys keep doing this. You guys going to go down the drain because you guys are pretty much believing vegan nationalism.
Yeah, sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, he crashed out hard there.
Big time.
Too. And then he starts talking about plant feelings and stuttering like what?
Yeah.
I know. I do hope if he is still in the audience, please check out the resources. Don't listen to us. I understand you may feel that we're mean, but that doesn't mean the point of veganism is wrong. Like, we're standing up for someone's rights, and that's why this conversation is so focused. We're focused on their rights. I felt like that bothered him that we were so focused, and that's what he thought was the manipulation.
I just hate people calling us pseudoscientific. I just hate that.
No, I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate you stepping in. Yeah. How do I pronounce your name?
Just say
Tipu?
Tipu. Yeah.
You're over 18, Tipu?
Yeah.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan yet?
Well, according to my biology, I don't have to.
Your biology?
Yeah, biologically we're omnivores, so we don't have to, choose one side or the other.
Oh, you mean because
biologically you can eat the muscle of a human being and not get sick at all. So biologically, you should have no issues with eating human muscle, should you?
The same with bear meat, but okay.
So
wait. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you agree that humans are biologically omnivores?
Of course, nobody's doubting that.
Okay, so you do realize this whole thing is subjective, right? Neither of us are in the right or wrong.
Wait, is it subjective? Is it subjectively wrong to kill a human being so that you can eat their muscles because you can as an omnivore?
Sure, why not? The only thing that's holding us back is the law.
So would you be in favor of killing a human being to eat their muscles?
Sure, why not? Is there a problem with that?
Well, I'm already. Thank you for exposing this. I'm assuming that most people on this planet would not be in favor of unaliving human beings. So you're either being intellectually dishonest or you're trolling, and either way, okay.
I'm not trolling. Like, why are you in so much denial?
All right, so wait, Tapu, wait. I want to ask you. Do you, specifically you, believe that humans have inherent rights to like autonomy and to not be exploited without our consent?
No.
You don't think humans have the right to not be enslaved and have their autonomy left alone?
Do humans have the right to be enslaved, or what are you talking about?
Yeah. Do I have the right to enslave you?
Of course not.
Right. Okay, good. We got somewhere. Okay, good. So why should I respect your preference to be left alone?
You don't have to.
Yeah, but why should I? Like, if I came at you, you're gonna stop me, right?
Yeah, but it's your decision to.
Right. So that means you prefer that I leave you alone. Why should I respect that? Or should I just go at anybody until they defend themselves?
Well, because I said so.
Oh, it's not because you have the capacity to suffer and I should consider that? You're having your own subjective experience and have your own purpose?
Wait, are you comparing me to an animal?
No, I'm just talking about you.
Yeah, so no.
So why should I respect your autonomy?
Well, because I said so.
Okay, so let's say I have a human that cannot defend themselves. Let's say I have a human here that cannot defend themselves, right? An innocent human, still experiencing the world, loves some color, loves the color blue, okay, and loves to taste sweet things. But they can't do anything else. They're maybe similar to the animals we use. Would you, in your subjective morality, think it's moral for me to exploit that baby?
Into not eating sweets?
No. Exploit the baby for my purposes. I'm saying they like sweet things to make a point that they have subjective preferences.
Well, that's unhealthy, obviously.
Can you follow? Like, do you understand? Do you understand that I'm laying out a hypothetical for you?
Well,
I'm saying so listen, you wouldn't do that. Is that what I heard?
Well, it's not my kid, so.
No, I'm asking you, would you find it moral if I was to exploit this baby?
From doing what?
Do you know what exploit means? Exploit means using them unfairly for my benefit.
Yeah, but what does that consider? Yeah, but from what though? Can you be specific?
What do you mean from what? I'm exploiting them. I'm using their body for my purpose, whatever it is.
Look, if I exploit a kid from not playing video games, does that make me a bad person? So you gotta be specific.
I don't think you understand what exploit is. We're gonna move on because I just gave you the definition. Like, if you can't understand.
I was curious about this because I said so. I was curious about that, but that's okay.
Do you want me to pull him back up?
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. It was clearly disingenuous, but it's all because I said so. Like, why would that
because
matter?
I said so. Right. Maybe I should summarize my point in case he's in the audience. My point is the fact that you want your autonomy respected means that you need to respect other people's autonomy, right? Like, if you go around harming others, that means you're up for game, right? Does that compute? Like, I don't understand how someone can think you need to respect my autonomy, but your autonomy is fine for me to violate. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you want your sentience respected, you should respect others' sentience. If you want your capacity to suffer to be considered, you should consider other people's capacities to suffer. Go ahead and throw one at me, Lori.
Okay.
Or unless were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Oh, he's still back up here, but it's up to you. Well, go for another person. Or do you want him back?
I don't know if Chip wants to talk to him. I don't mind bringing him back up, but I think I'm done talking.
Yeah. Let's. I'm curious. I'm curious about this.
Okay. Bring him up, Lori.
Okay.
Thank you, Lori.
So I'm curious. You said because you said so, we should not be unaliving you or harming you. Is that correct?
Yeah, I value my life. Of course, I don't want you harming me.
Okay. But why should I respect what you say?
You don't have to respect it. I'm not going to force you to. I'm not going to force you to respect me.
Would you consider so what you're saying? I appreciate you're saying a lot of things, and I actually can go in multiple directions with this one. So I'll ask you this: you said in order for me to respect you, I would have to respect your desire to live, correct?
I guess.
Do you think you are respecting animals when you are infringing on their desire to live for something that you don't actually need?
Do not compare me to an animal.
Did I make a comparison to an animal? First of all, you are an animal because you are a human being. So by definition, you are also an animal. And I can compare you to an animal just like I can compare you to a planet, just like I can compare you to an inanimate object. Comparison doesn't necessarily mean equation. Comparison means one can be bigger than the other. So I can compare you or myself to anybody.
I'm talking by species. I'm a human, not an animal.
Okay, so what I said, do you think you are respecting? Yeah. Do you think you are respecting animals? Do you think you are giving animals the respect that they deserve when you are choosing to exploit and slaughter them against their desire to live?
I'm not.
You're not. So do you? So you don't respect animals?
No. Why should I?
Why should you respect animals?
Yeah. Why should I?
Because I don't know, they just they're just like you're an animal. That's one thing, and two, because I don't know, any moral being on this planet would inherently respect the basic rights of anybody else on this planet.
Wait, I got something to say. A few minutes ago, you guys claimed that animals and humans are morally the same, correct?
They're the same in all the ways that matter.
So why is it okay for an animal to eat another animal, but it's wrong for a human to eat an animal?
So I can answer that question pretty easily. Like if a baby, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be monopolizing this discussion. So if a baby
have a consciousness, they can't.
But a baby is a human being, is it not?
Yeah, but they can't act.
Okay. So if a baby decides to play with a knife, let me finish. If a baby plays with a knife, and in that way that they're playing, they harm their parent, maybe to the point that they kill their parent somehow accidentally. Maybe they even play with their gun because, in the US, guns are a big deal, right? The baby finds the gun, they play around with it, and they shoot their parent accidentally. I'm just failing to understand, do you think that's moral or immoral, what that baby did? How would you say that what that baby did? Is it moral? Is it immoral? How is it?
Well, it's immoral because they didn't have the conscience to act. They didn't know what they were doing.
So what that baby did was immoral because they didn't have the conscience to know what they're doing?
It's not immoral because they don't know what they're doing. They're not conscious enough to figure it out. Okay. So then why would you think that the lion who kills are conscious?
No, what I'm saying is that the animals, as you pointed out, are very synonymous to human babies in a sense that they may not differentiate right from wrong as well as you can, number one. And number two, even if they can, the animals that usually kill animals, they don't do it because they like the taste of their meat or their flesh. They do it for survival reasons, which you don't do for that situation, do you?
I think that's false. When I give my dog a piece of meat, they wag their tail and jump on me. So I think they do like the taste of it.
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah, go.
Because I don't think he's understanding. Human beings are moral agents, right? We know right from wrong. And then other animals are usually moral patients. They don't have the capacity necessarily to know right from wrong. In some cases, they might, but in many cases they don't. And also, they are just trying to survive.
You do realize morality is subjective, right?
Did you hear anything I just said?
Yeah, but you're saying humans know right from wrong, but we don't truly know what is right or wrong. It's subjective.
Wait, morals know what is right and wrong?
Morals can be created from society or religion.
Yeah. So morality is subjective.
In a different country, my morals can be different from theirs. So what are you talking about?
Sure. Do you know what is right or wrong?
In my society and culture, yes.
Okay, so you are a moral agent. Do you understand the difference between a moral agent and a moral patient?
No. What is a moral agent or patient?
So that literally was just explained to you.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. You also claim that I'm the same as an animal, right?
No, you're just being tippy, whatever your name is. You're just being contrarian just to be contrarian.
I'm not. You do realize
yes, you are.
This whole argument is subjective. I'm an omnivore. I don't have to eat meat or, vegetables.
That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you should respect other sentient beings with a will to live. Just enough. Hold on. You should respect them just enough, to where you should realize they also don't want to be killed. Unalived.
Animals don't respect each other, though.
No, we just explained to you that we are moral agents. We do know right from wrong. It doesn't matter, what your society raised you to believe. You can determine what is right from wrong. Animals can't. They're always in survival mode. And they're just trying to survive. But we have grocery stores. We have essentially removed ourselves from the wild, right? From the food chain. We have grocery stores that we go to. That's where we predominantly get our food from. So we do have a choice.
So why do you have a problem with my choice? I choose to eat meat. Why do you have a problem?
Because there's a victim involved.
Aren't we also
You're taking life? Hold on. You're taking life when you do not have to.
Are we doing the same when we're being vegan?
No.
So we're not taking away all the vegetables from animals.
Have you listened to anything in this conversation at all?
See, you guys are wrong. This is all
You're having trouble tracking. We're talking about sentience.
This
the
is
capacity.
All subjective. There's no right or wrong.
You need to listen because you're not tracking at all, and it's really
you're using manipulation.
Yeah. So
right,
So we're talking about sentience. We're talking about living beings who have the capacity to suffer. Okay. And if you actually, shut up. If you actually cared about plants, if you're a plants rights activist, you should be vegan because animals that we raise for food eat the majority of crops.
Guys, notice how they keep muting me because they're wrong?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, you can kick that guy. They weren't even listening, were they?
No, he wasn't. Not at all.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
I know. Genuinely, can he? Why does it? I don't know. Sometimes we get people up here that are actually absorbing, but it blows my mind when you get people that
just can't.
Yeah, I guess to see someone literally waiting just to respond is always just mind blowing. Wait, no, I just said something. Did you hear that? Hello?
Right. And the thing where he said about giving his dog a piece of meat and it wagging his tail. Well, his dog would do the same damn thing if he gave it a ball.
Yeah, that wasn't the point.
Or chocolate.
Yeah, well, you don't want to give them chocolate, but
well, that's my point, right? They'll just
right.
because they like it doesn't mean that they need it or it's necessarily good for them or
right. And that wasn't even the point. Yeah, that was crazy.
He was not getting it.
Yeah,
put me in. He's back. He wants to come back.
No, I don't want to talk to him anymore.
Okay, yeah,
you can throw someone new at us though.
Okay. All right, well, and we'll go with this guy, I guess.
Yay.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
are you over? Are you over 18?
I am.
Right on. So why aren't you vegan yet?
That guy was funny. Well, I tried it for about a year. Well, here's part of it. So I was vegan for a year. A girlfriend of mine got me into it. And for a whole year I was vegan until, for moral reasons. And then for moral reasons I stopped. Now, when I said that in chat, I said, hey, I was vegan for a year. I'm going to get someone going, well, actually, you were plant-based for a year. You weren't vegan for a year. If you went back, that means you're not vegan. That right there, that kind of like vibe, you see how that pushes people away, right?
But what's the moral reason why you stop? You said you stopped.
No. I'm just saying, like we gotta talk. Like
sure,
that,
yes.
that pushes people away.
Spare us the tone policing. Spare us the tone policing and get to your point.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, are we not doing that at all? Like, that's what this whole thing is. So that's what you guys were trying to get to that guy. Like, you were trying to get him to that he's an animal, too. And he had issues with that because humans want to have some type of superiority. You guys are there in the right sense that having morality is its own superiority. You should be able to know that if something's capable of suffering, you wouldn't want it to have it to suffer, too. But not get it twisted. We're all fucking animals, and that there is no difference in between eating a person or a cow. There isn't, in my opinion. I've seen the life in a cow's eyes. I've seen it in my cat's eyes. I've seen it in a dog's eyes, and I've seen it in a person's eyes. They're the same. So you guys were just trying to help walk him there. But here's my thing.
What's the moral reason why you stopped?
Here's the moral reason is what does life do separate than everything else in the universe? It consumes itself. It does not matter the type, that form it is in. It does not. Life consumes itself. It is the trick. It is part of
Would you say that then right now, because you said you made a statement right now that killing humans or animals is the same thing. So yes. Would you right now consider that what Jeffrey Dahmer, you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is?
Of course.
He unalived people and ate them. Would you consider what Jeffrey Dahmer did as moral, and the fact that he was put in prison is actually an injustice?
So now if he was an Aboriginal somewhere and he was just, uneducated, had no education at all, like some kind of feral being and was eating people because he had it was not evil. The fact that he lived in a society and was doing it for the suffering that it was causing, it was evil. But
wait. How does that because again, when you consume an animal product, you don't do it out of necessity. You do it for the same reason that Jeffrey Dahmer did, because he wanted to.
Okay,
so if you're saying that
that's not true, because tell me that a little kid fed a piece of protein knows.
Let me finish for a second. If you're saying that all of the sudden, because you said for moral reasons you stopped. So if you're saying that all of the sudden it is moral to take the life of a sentient being for something you don't need, for optional products, that's moral, but it is immoral to take the life of a sentient being that is human for optional products, that's immoral, then you already have a contradiction in your statement based on everything that you've said so far. So what exactly are you saying? Is it moral to take the life of a sentient being, whether human or not, for optional products or not? Is it moral to take the life of a sentient being?
No, I'm saying it depends on the perspective of that person. If that person is a feral animal, is an Aboriginal to the point where they're basically feral, then they do not have our societal concept of what's right and wrong. Am I wrong or not? Tell me that.
I'm asking.
I know I'm not wrong, because that means that if I give a child a piece of meat,
can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just saying.
1 second, because I really want to understand this.
There's nothing to understand. We're coming from the same side. I'm just saying that it's all suffering, brother. It's all suffering. All of it. It is.
Wait.
I've seen the data. The plants suffer too, just like.
Can I say something, though? Because we're not.
Plants and animals.
I don't think he was
They all suffer. It's part of life.
Whoa. Okay. Things are getting a little emotional right now.
Tell me I'm not wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me
you're wrong.
Brother.
You're vegan.
We're going to drop you if you can't keep your emotions to yourself. All right. We're not talking to people who have had no education and who have not lived in a functioning society, right? We're talking to you right now. We're talking to people who are probably privileged enough to go vegan. So I'm not sure what point you're even trying to prove. That's not who we're talking to.
And not just that, but you, who has acknowledged that you were vegan for moral reasons, so you said it's wrong to exploit and slaughter a sentient being for optional products, and all of a sudden you changed that perspective. So I am just very curious how your values have changed in the process.
I would like to add that, but as soon as I do, I get muted. The thing is that from going down the rabbit hole that you guys all went down, I've looked at the science for it, dude. Tell me that plants don't have suffering when you're breaking the limbs and shit. Tell me they don't. Tell
Plants
me not
don't have
every
suffering
suffers.
when you're breaking their
Tell
limbs.
me part
There are
of
studies. There
Tell
are
me-
studies debunking a myth, plant consciousness. Look it up.
Show me a life form that consumes something that's not living.
Hey. I'm not going to deal with you not responding to what I say.
Show it to me.
Look up the study. Look up the study.
The game is called life. It's part of stuff.
Debunking a myth, plant consciousness. They don't have a central nervous system. They don't have pain receptors. They don't feel pain. Okay?
Okay.
Also,
We know that animals do.
But
Can
tell
I
me
press
that
on another
I'm,
thing?
Tell
Wait,
me,
wait, one
tell
second,
me
one
I'm,
second.
tell me I'm
You
wrong
said-
in saying the statement yet, though.
You are wrong, but
they
let
don't
me
feel
put it
yet,
this way.
though, because that is life, dude. That is life.
So I need to
what I'm
understand
saying is,
how
from
did how
your
did that
side,
change?
you guys to need.
I need to understand. I really wish you would explain specifically this. The difference, what exactly changed for you to start saying that all of the sudden plants have feelings? Did you not see that before? Before, when it was a moral thing, you said plants didn't have feelings?
I didn't do my own research. I didn't look into it myself.
I refuse to
You
believe.
have to accept that all
Black
of
Knot.
life is suffering and consuming
Let's
other
be
living
real.
things. It is part of
Black
life.
Knot.
It is part of
Black
life.
Knot, let's be real. You didn't stop being vegan because you realized plants might feel pain.
Then you're not.
Can you just tell us the reason? Can you tell us the real reason?
That is my truth. That is exactly what happened. Why can't you accept that? Why
that's
can't
not
you accept
true.
that?
It's not
okay,
true.
then what am I
Wait,
supposed to do?
wait,
Because
that is
no,
my
hold
truth.
on.
That is 1,000% my truth.
Hold on.
A billion percent.
I need to say one more thing because we need to say one more thing here. If you truly are a plants rights activist, you are a really bad one. Do you want to know why?
Sure. I mean, I don't
Because
know. I didn't educate myself on it.
Sure, great. I'm going to educate you. If you really cared about plants and their feelings, you'd be vegan. Because animals eat far more plants.
Right.
Than you and I
just stopped
ever would.
torturing myself over the plight of something that will never be solved.
That's why.
what I decided to stop
That's
doing.
why. That's
So
why.
it's a nirvana
The truth
fallacy.
comes out. The truth comes out.
You guys are fighting an uphill battle.
The
as
truth comes out.
Part of life.
It was
Consuming
too
is part of life.
inconvenient.
Tell me it's not.
It was too inconvenient for you.
Yeah.
The truth comes out.
No. You're not wrong to an extent. I mean, I'm 6'3". I'm 240
The truth
pounds.
comes out.
I
Yeah.
had protein I needed to eat, and I could
You
not
could have just
afford
been
the nuts.
truthful. I don't care. I don't care.
So
You could have just been truthful from the
afford the
beginning.
trail mix for my protein, and that's my fault. Tell me.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
It's too bad we don't have Chip on camera to show, that you can easily get a ripped bod on plants.
Yeah. Plus Sky
I
is
don't
like
think he was being
6'4".
sincere. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I don't think he was even vegan. I think it's just
No,
a bullshit story that he
Not
heard
at all.
somewhere.
Oh yeah, he was completely dishonest. The truth came out, obviously. It always does. They always tell on themselves.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah,
No,
he
you
didn't.
weren't
It
black
doesn't
out.
sound like he actually understood
Yeah.
what veganism was, which is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings, and that's why he got lost in plants.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
That was truly wild.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy.
I've never heard of someone going like plant-based even for some animal welfare, and then that's just for plants. I don't know. That's so wild. I've never heard that transition for that reason. That's unique. That's a new one.
Yeah.
If you want to throw one us at us, Lori.
Okay. Chris is wanting to come up. That's a vegan, but I can throw another one at you. Do you want to bring them both up, or?
Sure. Throw them both up.
You might have to change the format to get another person if we're.
Oh, but I was going to head out in a few minutes. I'll go ahead and step down now if you want.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you being up here, Sam. Thank you for having our back.
Yeah, no, and I, as always, I learned a couple of things new from you guys, so thank you very much.
Yeah, same. Learn from you too. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Everyone should go follow SameasLee. Great vegan activist. Actually, if, while we have the time, follow all the vegans here. All of them are solid activists. Both look on YouTube and over here. Look on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. They're all on a mix of them. So definitely go check them out, or just follow them here even. All right. Let's see. C Shout. Are you over 18? Hello? Hello?
They could have dumped, maybe.
Oh, maybe. I mean, it says that they're here, like they're loaded in. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe they weren't. Escape.
Yeah, run while you have the chance.
Yeah. Welcome up, Vegan Chris.
1 second. Somebody's saying in the chat, I'm going to eat 2 steaks tonight, so vegan isn't making a difference. Well, you know what? I'm going to eat 2 blocks of tofu just now, so that your difference isn't being made. I don't know.
We're all going to eat 2 blocks of tofu now. There, it's even compounded.
Exactly. Love that.
Yeah. All right. Xander, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me know if you're over 18.
Yes, I'm 38.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Why aren't you vegan?
No, I was an analytical chemist for 15 years. Those lovely green earrings that you got. Yeah. The colours on that were tested on animals and they suffered. The nose.
No, this is just silicone.
No. The green colour, the dye.
Do you have a source for that?
Yeah.
Do you have a source? Okay, go ahead and tell me.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it? What's your source?
Oh. So you've not got any bad effects when you put it in your ears?
No, you have to prove your claim. You just said that they test the coloring on animals. Go ahead and give me the study that points that out, or your evidence, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, you can go and look it up. Do you want me to do your homework for you?
Oh no, you did the homework. This is your claim.
Even your ring noses.
Okay, Xander. It doesn't even matter. We're here to talk about why you're not vegan. Why are you not vegan?
Also, the black color in your sweatshirts.
Wait,
okay, goodbye, Xander.
You're talking
out
of your.
He's just gonna
right
appeal
now.
to. He's just gonna appeal to hypocrisy all day.
Yeah.
But
I don't think. Go ahead, Chip.
I'm sorry. I also don't understand what the point is. Okay, so what I bought is not vegan. Okay, I'll be more careful next time. Now, what is your reason for continuing the support of animal exploitation exactly?
Yeah, I'll even look it up here. Is the color used in silicone tested on animals? To be clear, though, I did buy these many, many, many years ago.
Even if it is, which is such a ridiculous claim.
There's nothing direct that says that it is. It says some coloring is, some coloring isn't. You'd have to know what the brand is.
That's such an out there claim. The color is tested. What do you mean the color?
Yeah, I don't like the liquid. I don't know. But again, to like what Chip said, it doesn't even matter because it's the appeal to hypocrisy. Even if I'm doing something that is hypocritical to the vegan movement, that doesn't change the argument of veganism, which is about your personal choices. So just because I'm not perfect doesn't mean that you can't do it better.
No, we don't live in a vegan world, right? So unfortunately, sometimes that's going to happen. But we can strive to make it not happen, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
And unfortunately, we are still testing on animals, so when's that going to stop? That's got to stop. So
it definitely has to stop.
And you got two in the Caden and Nico. I don't know if you want me to bring them up. Sounds like they're...
bring up.
Well, one is I'm not vegan because steak and bacon. That's why.
Just pick one of them and throw them up here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't care which one. Oh, Nico, you're vegan. Are you there? Oh, okay. I guess not. So I guess Caden then. Hey, Caden. Are you over 18? Oh, it's a child.
He's a child.
Your mom's calling. Go ask your mom why you shouldn't talk to strangers on the internet. Oh, that's too bad. I don't know if we got a couple still in there. I think I can go for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's T-Poo-T, whatever his name is. Sorry if I mispronounced it.
No, don't. I'm laughing because I'm
T-Poo.
Oh, do we already have them up there? Oh, T-Poo. No, I don't want that. No, we could do either Dino or Macho. I'm fine with
I don't see that on my end. I only see him. So that's on my end.
Oh, see another. What is
so
with
weird.
TikTok,
I don't know.
man?
Yeah,
That's silly.
Specifics, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's upsetting. We're just letting Macho load in. It's taking a second. Oh no, Macho! It might not work.
Maybe you can see, since you're the host, maybe you can see people who have already swiped out of the app, and we don't see them or swiped.
Oh, that's why they're not loading because they've already left. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Lame. I took too long for them. Understandable. I'm gonna bring up Rukbar. Sorry. They look like they just popped in. Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Okay, right on. Why aren't you vegan yet?
Because I'm poor to the point where I mostly just eat rice and beans, and if I get a chance for something that's more substantial than that, I gotta take it. I'm not in a good place. That's why.
Okay, I mean, have you tried to eat vegan or even considered other vegan food? You can eat fruits and vegetables. They all have protein in them.
Yeah, I got
nuts,
chickpeas.
tempeh.
Yeah, my cupboards right now are full of chickpeas and lentils. Rice and beans.
But I mean,
that's.
So
pretty...
what's wrong with eating rice and beans?
Well, is
it just flavor?
Yeah, flavor. I need hot sauce for it, but there's nothing wrong. It's just all I can afford.
That's fine. The beans and rice is totally. I honestly eat beans and rice for my dinner meals a lot because it's easy and delicious. But I don't just eat beans and rice. I'll usually get either some frozen vegetables that I can quickly cook up, or if there's some veggies that are cheap, I'll buy those, chop them up, mix them in my beans and rice. So I add a little more vitamins to my nutrition. There's cheap powders. You can go to little small stores there's what's the store I'm thinking of? Grocery Outlet is what I have over here. They usually have really cheap grocery goods that you can go get before they're expired,
Can I
have you considered that? Oh, please, Chip, go ahead.
Yeah, can I test that claim? I'm curious. So let's imagine that all of a sudden in supermarkets you can only find dog meat or cat meat, and it is cheaper than everything else. Would you consume that?
You asking me?
Say it again. Yeah, I'm asking you, yeah.
No.
So then it's not a matter of price, as we can say, because if it were dog meat or cat meat, you wouldn't care about the price. You would just not buy it.
Yeah.
So why is it that you don't give the same moral consideration?
That's you guys are talking about. Like I'm pro vegan. I want to be. I just can't afford to be in that place right now.
But wait a minute, because if let's
like I said, right now I have no meat in my house. I have it's just lentils, chickpeas, rice, and beans. That's it. I'm pro vegan. I'm just saying, if I get a chance to eat something more substantial, I'm gonna take it because I'm hungry.
What does that mean? What does that mean that if you get a chance?
If so, like the other day, my neighbor gave me a plate and it had 3 little slices of steak on it. So I made a steak, try this, and I took it.
And if your neighbor gave you a steak made of cooked dogs, would you do the same thing?
Would it taste the same as normal steak? Because I
don't know. Maybe yes, maybe a little bit differently, maybe better, maybe worse. Who knows?
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care.
So you would continue eating it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what if it were human meat? Your neighbor the same thing did, but you with human meat.
A little bit of long pork never hurt.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't mind that? Well,
yeah.
This is absurd. So you're not pro-vegan then?
Yeah, I am. You guys are looking for an argument where there isn't one, so I'm just matching energy.
No, I mean, look, you came up here to talk with animal rights activists, right? You said you're pro-vegan, which is fine, but you're also, that chip guy is giving you some substantial points, and you're just kind of being absurd.
Not really. He's making an argument where there isn't one. I just explained why I eat sometimes.
Sure, but you admitted that you probably wouldn't buy dog or cat meat just because it's cheap. So why buy flesh from cows, pigs, or chickens?
I don't. I can't afford it. That's why. Because I can't afford to. People got it.
Okay. So I want to know, why are you vegan? Why would you want to be vegan?
Because it is just better. If I go 100% vegan, I would.
No, why? But why though? Why would you do that?
Because I love animals.
Okay, so to cause them unnecessary harm, you agree is immoral.
Yeah.
If I gave you a resource that could help you, hold on, Drew. If I gave you a resource,
and all the other stuff too.
Okay, so if I gave you a resource that helped you, so that someone could help you for 22 days. Help you meal plan, find all the products that are in your area within your budget that meet your needs. Would you then find it to be a moral obligation to live vegan? If you could find everything you needed for the price that you can afford?
Again, argument where there's not one. I've already said I want.
Can you just answer my question?
Sure. Yeah. You guys would
you? I want you to answer, because you keep going into this fake outrage and turning into a victim. I want you to just answer the questions.
I answered them already. You just don't like the
you didn't. No, you didn't answer my point. Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah. So the point is, you said you have a budget issue, and what was asked of you is if you were given resources to help you manage that and stay on a plant-based diet within your budget, would you then consider it as a moral obligation for you to never consume any more animal products, given that you would be staying within your budget?
Yeah, I would. Wait, I'm pro-vegan. Yeah, I would do it 100%.
Okay, so what, if you want to stop using animals, because that's what a vegan is, we're not a gang. No one's going to come and be like, oh, you're vegan, you're not vegan. It's about us not wanting to cause animals unnecessary suffering and looking at every way in our life that we do that and removing it as much as we
owning
can.
phones made by abused human beings.
See, this is why I don't think we're vegan.
Have fun being hypocrites.
Yeah, and why is your? Oh, okay, he left. But
yeah, he left. I didn't kick him.
I was going to ask him, why is his tone very different when he's talking to you, VSL, versus when he's talking to that chip guy? Right?
I mean, we all know why, right?
Right.
He's a bit of a misogynistic asshole.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I want him.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Exactly. But I want him to realize that.
Yeah, I appreciate you pointing it out because it is important that we point it out. These are the habits. People they're not even aware of it, really. So,
yeah, he was sarcastic and rude whenever you said something. But when Chip Guy repeated it, oh, yeah, of course. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, don't have time for you. Let's see. Laura, are you able to see anybody?
I got.
I only
one just popped up. I don't know.
Is it Dino or Tippatu? Because I don't want Tippatu back up.
Yeah, it's him, Tippatu.
Okay, I'll just bring it. We haven't talked to Dino, right? Or Dino? Dino.
Dino, I don't think so.
You're over 18, right, Dino? Are you speaking? I can't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're very, very quiet. I think you're covering your mic.
Let me put in my AirPods. Hang on 1 second.
Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you now. I got you.
Okay. No, I was like in queue for like 40 minutes. It was weird. I think like most of the mods couldn't see me, but you could. It was like really weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, I appreciate your patience. You're over 18, right?
Yeah, I'm 44.
Okay. Fantastic. Why aren't you vegan?
I would say I'm not currently vegan now because I'm not doing a great job of trying to minimize harm when it comes to like products in my life. I mean, I've been plant-based for a couple years, and before that I did call myself vegan for about 15 years. But here recently I've just gotten really lazy on like not paying attention to consumer products, and like I bought a leather couch about a year ago, and I wear a leather belt and shoes, and I've done a really shitty job of not minimizing the last couple years. So for those reasons, I don't think I can justifiably say that I'm vegan anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would agree that maybe you wouldn't be able to call yourself vegan now just because you don't want to stop participating in that. But it sounds like, you'd be willing to, but there's something stopping you. Like what is stopping you from going back to demanding their exploitation?
I think just selfishness. Like I can say,
just convenience.
Well, yeah, I jumped into a PhD program. I travel a lot for work. Like I've been gone for 17 days for work, doing conferences and speaking. And just for convenience purposes, I have not been conscious in my decisions for a while since I've taken on a new role and gone back to school. And when I feel like it was more convenient for me, I was vegan. And again, I was vegan for like 15 years, but definitely the last 2 years, I've done a really shitty job of the whole minimizing part.
Do you think that you should be avoiding using them?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I make a correction there?
Yeah,
because I feel like maybe Dino, that would help. Being vegan is not about minimizing harm. It's not necessarily a utilitarian point of view. It's about respecting individuals. And obviously, when you consider it about minimizing harm, if you make the wrong choice every once in a while, you'll still think, well, I'm doing the best that I can and I am minimizing harm. But if you see it as respecting individuals, if you see it pretty much like how feminism is about respecting women, you can't every once in a while, remove the rights from a person or something, right? It's just like you shouldn't be doing it for an animal.
Yeah, and I respect that. Like here, I'll give an example, right? I purchased a leather couch about 2 years ago, and like every time I look at the couch or someone mentions, hey, I really like your couch, or oh, that's a really nice couch, I like cringe knowing what I'm sitting on, you know what I mean? Whereas like I just purchased a new car about 6 months ago, and I was very purposeful on getting vegan leather in my car. But then like last week, I bought a brand new belt for a conference. I was in a crunch. I forgot my belt. I had to like Uber to go get one, and I got a leather belt. So it's just like when it's convenient, that's where I've not focused on being more thoughtful, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, no one can like make you make the right decisions. If you know what the right thing to do is, it's really just up to you what you purchase. Because when you put your dollar in, that's what you're supporting. I would say like, if you were, the only thing that I would really emphasize is every time that you're about to purchase something and, you think that you need it, just ask yourself, is it worth their loss? Is you being late for your conference and taking another 10 minutes to find a belt, worth more than the animal's life?
And I do think that's a fair question. I would just say if it's, I forgot a belt, I'm getting ready to do a poster presentation at an international conference in an hour, and I'm scrambling to go find a belt. What's more higher priority to me? And at that time, that's where I say I chose what I chose. You know what I mean? So I get that, but also the implications of like losing a job and you're at a conference and like people, your boss would judge you for not looking appropriately. That could.
Well, so if your boss maybe, it would be more about you being principled, right? If anything, that shows that you're not going to be pushed around. You're going to do a good job on what you think is right? You're not going to succumb to pressures of other people if you stand your ground on what you think is right. But again, it's up to you what you do. No one's going to, veganism is just about your personal priorities of not wanting to demand someone else's exploitation. And obviously there is a line of necessity. There's people living in areas, for example, that don't have access to things that would maybe keep them healthy and alive that would align in veganism. But, it's just about what you want to support. It's a principled stance against exploitation. If you were the victim, right? What would you want your oppressors to do? Would you want them to do everything they can to avoid? Or, when it's convenient for them, they'll still, demand that you be put in enslavement and ultimately have your life taken just because of their convenience? What matters more?
Yeah, I totally get it. And again,
I can't lecture to you. You already know this, but just bear that in mind.
No, I get it. I do, and I respect your opinion. I do. I just as a reminder, I don't know on the panel who else here, but I'm 44. I haven't physically had meat since I was 12 years old. So to know that I purposely put a lot of energy into not consuming animals, and for 15 years, everything I touched from toothpaste to fabric to everything was purposeful. I just want to be a little mindful too that sometimes your guests, when you're lecturing me, just remember that I do have a past. but I respect your opinion though. But
right. So I don't want to hold your past against you. That's not what I'm about. I'm just more saying the next time that you might have a victim, double check yourself kind of thing. I'm not going to guilt trip you about the past. It's more about what you want to do from here on out. And if you were the oppressed, what would you want your oppressor to do? And live like you would want your oppressor to do, which would be, I would hope, to stop immediately and, stand by your principles. And like I said, we understand people in extreme situations, but convenience just doesn't justify, violating someone. I wouldn't want to be violated for someone's convenience. So.
For sure. So I guess my last question would just be, would you guys consider me vegan?
If you decided from here on out that you are going to make conscious choices to avoid using animals, absolutely. I would call you vegan.
So if the last 6 months I purposely chose those leather seats in my car that were vegan leather, but I had a slip up last week of a belt, would you still consider me vegan?
It's not about the individuals you save. It's about the ones that you're demanding be exploited. So yes, it's a pat on the back for demanding those individuals, but you still demanded somebody else go through that system. That's the problem. It should be the bare minimum to not exploit animals, right? You shouldn't need a pat on the back for finding vegan leather because it should have been that you just didn't want to support that. It's more about you didn't want to demand even a single being be used for you.
Okay.
But you can't call yourself vegan for 15 years if you intentionally do something that is not vegan. So you can call yourself vegan again if you want or whatever, right? It's not about policing, by the way, the term. It's just if you say you've been vegan for 15 years, but every once in a while you choose to exploit an animal, then you're not really vegan. Especially when you did that.
You understood me. I was vegan for 15 years. For the last 2 years, I had not been making those conscious decisions, or I've been slipping up with small decisions. So I was, to be clear, vegan for 15 years and have not consumed animal products since I was 14, and I'm 44.
No, I understand that. What my whole point was just to emphasize that if you, let's say you decide that you want to go vegan going forward, you want to be vegan,
Correct.
that you will just say, I was at some point in my life vegan for 15 years and now I'm vegan again. You don't just pick up where you left off, as in, I'm now vegan for 17 years, if I'm understanding correctly.
No, and I didn't. That's where you misunderstood me. It's just the way you said that comment almost had a little bit of trigger of like someone saying, "Oh, you were never a Christian if you left Christian." Like that's almost how you sounded to me when you actually weren't listening. That I said I was for 15, and then for the last 2, I was not. But the way you responded,
That actually wasn't clear to me either.
It was very, very cringy.
No, Dino, that actually wasn't clear to me either, that you were vegan, that you were actually vegan for 15 years.
Okay.
You may have stated something along those lines at the very beginning, but it wasn't very clear.
Okay. No, I just said I was vegan for 15 years, but for the last 2 years, I've done a really bad job of not minimizing blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you know how to be vegan. So from here on out, you should just be vegan.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks for coming up.
You guys have a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks for the patience.
Dino. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that has more to do with like social ties. When you don't have other vegans to talk to about stuff, it's easier to slip into old habits and forget about your priorities. Like if you don't have someone to talk to. You can't relate?
15, not 15 years. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I would agree with you. 5 years, maybe, 1,
Yeah, that's
2,
true.
5, hell, but 15 years just sounds like you've already been through hardship in 15 years.
That's true. 15.
I mean, for me, if I think about just 15 years of my life, I've been through so much hardship that if I passed all that and I'm still maintain the same values, then there's no reason to stop now, or with those values at least.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, it's 15 years. Wow. To do it, I don't understand that.
He was saying he was having hardships, like financially, or like
no, it was just convenience. Like he was getting a belt for a meeting last minute. He got a couch that he wasn't really mindful about.
Oh, because I was going to say
sorts of things.
I mean, I heard him say he ate rice and beans for the most part, but him purchasing animal products is more expensive.
I think that was the person before him, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was him. Sorry.
Yeah. I sometimes mix them up too. I was like, wait, did he say that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I think that was the last guy.
Got it. Hey, Chris, you haven't said anything.
Yeah, I've been quiet up there.
Hey, guys.
I just want to say hi.
How you doing?
Good.
That's good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Right on. Do you have any thoughts on the last guest?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I've only been vegan for 6 years, and I can't imagine being vegan for that long and then going back to...
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't imagine ever going back. I know I've made some mistakes along the way and then realized after, but...
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consciously go back to being not vegan for 2 years or something, or even for 2 days.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, that was my whole...
Oh, I was just going to say that is really interesting. I'm not sure that I believe that he was actually vegan for 15 years. It sounds like maybe he was more plant-based.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because to avoid all animal use for 15 years and then just I don't know. It's just I've never really
peculiar
heard that one before.
Me either. I've never heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, he's saying "wow" in the comments now. So I just said I'm I don't know.
It's kind of like just so we're clear, this is like similar to saying I was against slavery for 15 years and then I got a little lazy for a couple of years, right? So that's why it's like, how could you go back on someone's rights? That's why it sounds so weird. For 15 years, that's a long time. It's a very long time.
Also,
I've only oh, go ahead, sorry.
No,
why would he get triggered? Why would he get triggered by when I said that you can't say that you've been vegan for 15 years going forward? Like my whole point was that there was an interruption there. But why would you get triggered? Like I get triggered when people either like they do things to trigger me, or when they say things about me that might be true that I don't like, right? So if somebody tells me you're a cheater, I wouldn't get triggered because I know that to be factually wrong about myself. So why would the fact of us, maybe like as he understood from my statement that we were saying that he was not vegan for those 15 years, that said that would trigger him. So I'm just, why would that happen?
Yeah, and Dino in the comments, we didn't say point blank period you weren't vegan for 15 years. We didn't say that, right? We're just like wondering about it because that has never really come up for that length of time. I mean, for instance, like I say I've been vegan for 6 years. Really, I could say I was only plant-based for the first 2 years though, because I'll admit I bought, similarly, I guess I bought some things that contained animal products that I wasn't super conscious about. So, if someone says, actually, you were, plant-based for those 2 years, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, you're right. So I don't know.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because I remember my first year of being vegan, like within the first several months, I was consciously buying like vegan stuff or trying my best and still learning, But at the same time, if I went to someone's house that cooked dinner, I wasn't at that state yet where I was like, they cooked dinner for me, so I should just, But now I am. But at the time, I was like, but now I am like,
yeah.
I'm not going to eat that. I'll just, because now I bring my own food if I have to or something.
Right.
So, but at the time, within the first few months, I was still in that mindset of, they cooked dinner for me. I shouldn't be rude. But that's because I had just started being vegan. And before that, I wasn't vegan for like 40 something years.
But if you want to pull up Dino again and have a conversation with him, Dino, if you want to join, I'm curious. I do have some questions for you if you want to join again. I don't know if you guys want to do that.
I'm fine with. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say Chip likes pulling up past guests. I'm just like, I'm done with them.
So he starts to realize there's something else he's curious about. I love it. I'm okay with bringing him back up. I'm okay because if it helps someone actually transition, I'm down. I don't know if he's here anymore though.
I don't like talking about somebody without
right, and they can't defend themselves.
Yeah,
I hear that. Yeah, I think Dino might have left. If you're in here,
yeah, I don't see them.
Yeah, I don't see them either. They might have left. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on because. I would call myself vegan, even though I look back now and I know I wasn't vegan then. But I could then say I've been vegan for 16 years because there was like 7 years where I was convenient for other people. I would consume dairy because it was easier for other people. And I don't know, that's just why, even though I did it, I was that way for the animals. I still don't consider myself fully vegan because I was like, even though I just wasn't surviving, right? I didn't need to do it. So that's why it wasn't veganism. Their life mattered more than my inconvenience in that moment.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Because that's, we're so used to living the way we were for all those years. And then like becoming vegan. I always say I became vegan overnight because all of a sudden my brain, learned something about everything. But technically I really wasn't if you know what I mean? Because I was still like doing those little things like you just said.
I'm somewhat okay with someone calling themselves vegans as they're learning about stuff. And like we said, we make mistakes. They may not be fully vegan yet because they haven't really made that connection, but they're trying to make that effort and they're learning. But I don't know, 15 years though, that's just the only thing I'm hung up on. I'm like, 15 years is so long. I hope Dino comes back because I would love to know more. Maybe they can private message and we can talk to them there if they have more questions or anything. But we can move on too. Looks like Dino's gone. Let's see, what time are we at actually? I think I'm going to call it here. It's been almost 3 hours, and I think that we've made a pretty significant presence online today. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you go live at specific times or just randomly? Because I
try to go.
I always miss your lives.
I try to go live every Monday. And I have been trying to go live Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. my time PDT. But I'm definitely consistent on Monday. Tuesday and Thursday are hit and miss. But if I'm there, it'll be 3 p.m. PDT. But I've been pretty regular with Monday 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you being here too. Even though you didn't get to really speak much, it's great having vegans up on the panel.
Oh, that's okay. No problem.
Yeah, you just need to put out like Anna when you're going to be up, like like you've been doing.
I need to make more advertisements when I do it later in the week because I don't really get a lot of viewership in the afternoon lives. But yeah, definitely if you want to be here, I'll be here Mondays. But sometimes Tuesdays and Thursdays I start to feel kind of crappy and I'll bow out of going live because sometimes some of the guests, they wear on you some days. So. I want to try to present my best self.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah. But yeah, again, I want to thank also that Chip guy, special guest today from YouTube. I am so honored to have Chip here. Thank you, Chip. Everyone should go see him on YouTube and TikTok. Yes. Do you have any thoughts you want to add out there or anything?
I just want to say I hope I tend to monopolize sometimes discussions, and I hope I haven't done that. I just sometimes I'm just a curious person to ask questions, and when people make certain statements like that pseudoscientific thing, I'm like I just can't let that go.
I'm okay with that. That's okay with me. Yeah, dig in there if you have questions. Usually, if you're curious about the other person, they're gonna be even a little more open to your message. So I think that's actually a great thing that you have natural curiosity. And then Lori, always love having you up here, Lori. You're my rock. Yeah, you're my rock. Appreciate you. Yeah. Did you want to say anything?
Oh, no, I'm just happy to be up here and to see everybody and talk to all you guys. And I am following you, that Chip guy, so. And I follow everybody else too. So
everyone should follow Lori. Lori's amazing. Has an interesting, crazy background. She's got all sorts of interesting things. Very relatable. She's got a lot of stories. I love your stories, Lori.
Very interesting background. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Ciara, my fire Ciara.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Claps.
Oh my God.
Claps to everybody.
Keeps you're able to just always have a great demeanor. Like. Doesn't matter the troll. That's what I envy the most. I want to be able to harness the Ciara energy for sure. Did you want to add anything?
I'm just glad I got to join today. I don't usually get to, but today's Memorial Day, so I had it off.
Yeah!
So glad I got to join for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. That's true. I forgot it was Memorial Day. So I'm so happy you came and spent it with us. That really, actually, I felt honored by that. Thank you, Ciara. Yeah. And then Vegan Chris. I don't think I've actually had you on my panel before, but I'm so glad you're here. Maybe I hope that you join more. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I hope you join more though, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for having me jump in.
Did you want to add anything else?
I don't think so.
Anything else? Okay.
I mean, I go live sometimes too. It's random though, so I can't give you like specific, but it's usually on a Monday or Tuesday. So
yeah, I see it too. Yeah, I see his lives too.
Awesome. Well, everyone should go follow Ciara and Vegan Chris. I didn't shout that out. Everyone should go follow Ciara. She does great food reviews and other TikTok shop stuff. And then Vegan Chris, always standing up for animal rights, just like the rest of us. Just really appreciate you having taking the time to share your voice on here. So
you think you'll be back?
Yeah, thank you.
Next Monday or tomorrow? What are you gonna try?
Okay, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow at 3. Anybody who wants to be here, I'll see you here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Lori. I know you want to do it. You're so awesome. All right. So I'll see whoever's here. I'll see y'all on Tuesday, and everyone else. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys later. I'll see you on the front.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good day.